Valley High School in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, proving to be a good fit for the PIAA Football Championships. We have reached day 3, doubleheader action, one this afternoon, one tonight. Our AAA final here this afternoon, a pair of first-timer in the Saints of Neumann-Goretti, 11-3 their overall record. Belle Vernon Leopards checking in at 11-2, also making their first appearance in a state championship game. Very pleasant good afternoon and welcome back to Cumberland Valley High School. Mike Zambelli, Jim Wills. Jim, it really has proven to be a good fit. It's been a good fan experience, the players, the coaches. And we're looking forward to 2 good football games again here today.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. The Cumberland Valley staff has been tremendous. The facilities are tremendous. It's a great experience for these guys. And when it's coming here for the first time, it's a great thing to give them as a first-time experience.
What a good matchup we have in our afternoon game here, our AAA final. We take a look at Neumann-Goretti under veteran head coach Albie Crosby. When I say veteran, he knows the route here. He was an offensive coordinator when Philadelphia West Catholic won title in 2010. He was the head coach of Imhotep in 2015 when they won a state title. 6th season for him, 51-13 his overall record. We have a great matchup defensively here. Let's talk about Deshaun Dotson and what he means to a team that's given up less than 10 points per game.
Yeah, Mike, he's one of the big guys on this line. 6'5", 270 pounds, 32 tackles on the season, 7 tackles for loss, 1 fumble recovery, and he turned it into a touchdown. So he's going to be a big part of that defensive scheme.
Leopards of Belle Vernon, 11-2 District 7 champions for just the second time in program history. Matt Humbert is the 9th-year head coach. He's already the school's all-time winningest coach, and they have one of the best running backs, not just in Pennsylvania, but in the country. Junior Quinton Martin will be a vocal point for them offensively tonight.
Yeah, Martin ranked 37th in the country by rivals, and you're going to see him in action running and catching the ball. 130 carries for 1,203 yards, 21 touchdowns. And then on the reception part, 27, 399, and 6 touchdowns for him. So he can do it both from 2 positions, and he does it very, very well.
Anywhere from 35 college scholarship offers on the table for him. Here's a look at where they are located in terms of the Commonwealth. Neumann-Goretti located on 10th Street in Philadelphia. About a 120-mile drive on the Pennsylvania Turnpike going west. 2 schools are separated by about 300 miles or a little bit more than a 4.5-hour drive. Belle Vernon is located on Crest Avenue. Town or the school 25 miles southeast of Pittsburgh. It took them about 2 hours 45 minutes here. They did come in last night and stayed overnight and said that they had a very good journey. So we look at the real road to this championship, and of course that takes place on the field for Neumann-Goretti. Got by Nemesis Wyomissing last week, 20-17, the District 3 champions. Prior to that, they beat District 11 winner Northwestern. There's a game in there that we're not showing you, but they played South Philadelphia on Thanksgiving Day. Program actually played 3 games in an 8-day stretch. They used their JVs and won that game 26-20. Scranton Prep and that Du Bois Collegiate Academy was the District 12 championship game. On the other side of it for Belle Vernon, they also getting by Central, very athletic and a good football team. Last week to Central, the District 6 champs, 21-17 your final there. Avonworth was their District 7 championship game, won that by 17, beat Freeport by 42, East Allegheny by 48, Elizabeth Forward by 34 prior to that in their conference championship game. So Jim, Belle Vernon is really taking care of business both offensively and defensively.
Yeah, they've done a good job, and last week they really got tested on that game against Central, and they came out really, really strong. Defensively, as we heard, Mike, they haven't been giving up many points in the second half all year long, so they've been doing a good job in the defense, and offensively, we talked about Martin and the quarterback Locks, who was both tremendous athletes, so they got a lot going on offense.
Jim, we mentioned these are programs here for the first time. Start of this football game figures to be very important for both of them.
Yeah, exactly, because you got to get off to the right start in this situation, and you want to establish yourself, you want to move the chains, you want to get your rhythm going early, and that's going to be the key.
There's a lot of talk about this football game in terms of the similarities between the two. Both of them very explosive offensively, but yet both giving up less than 10 points per game defensively. Going to be interesting to see which team or which side of the football is going to be dominant this afternoon.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who can get that first touchdown in there, who can get those first points on the board, because that's going to be a key to see how many points you can score today, because I don't know, I get a feeling there's not going to be too many points scored here today.
Well, let's take it down to midfield and our coin toss as our pregame festivities continue.
May the better team win. White, you won the coin toss, you elected receive, correct? You decided you're going to kick towards the scoreboard, correct? Green over here, white on this side. Neumann will receive. Gentlemen, shake hands, have fun.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise for a presentation of the Star Spangled Banner. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Cumberland Valley Junior, Amanda Beavenauer.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the
Amanda Beavenauer, a junior here at Cumberland Valley High School, getting our festivities underway here this afternoon. The Saints of Neumann-Goretti won the toss and decided that they would like to have the football first here this afternoon. They will be wearing their traveling white uniforms trimmed in gold. There's some black in there as well. Meanwhile, Belle Vernon sporting their green uniforms. School colors are gold, white, and green. Program that began back in 1965. Overall record of 350, 241, and 7, and playing and getting ready to get this thing underway. Their first ever state championship game appearance. Number 86 is Willie Schwera, the junior, 6 foot 180. He will handle their kicking duties as well throughout this afternoon. They will work from right to left to start this afternoon's football game as our 2022 PIAA State Football Championship game is underway from the 15-yard line and in a world of trouble. And good special teams work for Belle Vernon. That was number 6 down there, Alonzo Wade, to make the tackle. Here is a look at our Penn State Health starting lineups. Jim?
When you look at the offense for Neumann-Goretti, it's going to be interesting to see what the wide receivers and running backs do, especially Gowans, Beverly, and Smith. Those are the guys you want to take a look at this afternoon. And on defense, it's going to be out of that linebacker core, Jewel, Moody, Getco. Those are going to be the guys you want to look at right there from the defensive standpoint.
Of course, Neumann-Goretti is without one of their captains, Sean Battle, who was ejected in last week's game. PIAA rules state that they cannot play then the following week. Penn State Health Sports Medicine, proud to support PCN's live coverage of the PIAA Football Championships as this year's starting lineups sponsor. Don't get sidelined with injuries. The experts at Penn State Health Sports Medicine help athletes of every level. First pass of the afternoon falls incomplete. Quarterback is Mackay Wharton. He has thrown for over 1,500 yards on the year, but they will keep it on the ground here. And not much happening over there. I mentioned these two defenses have been outstanding all year long. And another fine defensive play there. Coming up to make the stop was Braden Locks. He, by the way, is the team's starting quarterback.
You're going to see there, they're trying to get the ball outside. Amaj Gowan's there. That's the kind of thing that they're going to have to do to replace Battle. They're going to have to give it by committee on what running backs they have in that backfield.
Gowans is only a 9th grader. Terrence Page is now into the game. He is only a freshman as well, and each of them came on in a reserve role last week when Sean Battle was ejected from the game. Pressure in the pocket collapsing. Wharton's able to get out of there, but takes a solid hit when he gets it into that second tier, and he is going to be stopped shy of first down yardage.
Good coverage that time by Belle Vernon. They do a nice job of keeping him in the pocket. He's got to scramble at the end, but you're going to see they keep him in the cup. Then he gets inside position. But the thing of it is, they make some great hits at the end. Outstanding play right there by number 19, Adam LeCart, one of their best defensive players.
Going to bring up fourth down. They are milling around here a little bit. Whether they're going to punt the ball or not, Wharton is still in the football game. Well, they're trying to draw him off, and now there'll be a finger-pointing match between the two. Belle Vernon pointing to White.
Ball start, number 77, 5-yard penalty, still fourth down.
Dennis Grambling, Corey Thage, Charles Terrick, Donald Moss, Anthony Waranovich, Samuel Bernardi, and Matt Grambling, your officiating crew. You would think that's going to put him into a more traditional set, but not really. Wharton is only about 7 yards from the line of scrimmage, and that kick not very good. That almost hit one of the guys right in front of him, and scooping up that football is Belle Vernon. Jim, we talked about the newness of this kind of a game here, and boy, Adam LeCart scooping that thing up. They're going to have great field position as we look at Neumann-Goretti defensively. He's going to be challenged right now, and the Belle Vernon offense.
And the guys you want to look for is Deshaun Dotson, we talked about in the open, Corinne Robinson and Christopher Bresci on the front line of that defense. On the offense, it's going to be Brandon Locks, that's quarterback, a tremendous quarterback. And again, we talked about Quentin Martin, the running back, all world right there. So it's going to be those two guys that have the heat on them here this afternoon.
And Penn State Health Sports Medicine, proud to support PCN's live coverage of the PIAA Football Championships as this year's starting lineup sponsor. Don't get sidelined with injuries. The experts at Penn State Health Sports Medicine help athletes of every level. First look at the offense for the Leopards. Low snap and a nice job of handling that. And here's another. How many negative plays have we seen already in this game? I mean, these two teams defensively have just been outstanding. There's big number 58, Jabril Nordine in there to make the tackle.
Yeah, he went right around this block right there. He was inside very, very early. And I said, that's the guys you're going to have to watch, those four up front that are really going to give you a lot of pressure. So that's going to be interesting to see how Belle Vernon attacks it right now.
Recorded 22 sacks. Neumann-Goretti defensively has 94, make it now 95 tackles for losses. Here's a speed sweep, maintaining his balance and inside the 10. That was number 25 on the speed sweep. That is Quentin Martin, and they do such a good job of lining him up in different spots, and the Saints kind of lost track of him.
Yeah, and that's what coach told us that last week they pretty much kept him in the slot all week last week. Didn't go in the running back because he only had over 25 yards last week running, but it was because he was in the slot most of the time.
Well, and when he moved him into the slot, Coach Humbert said that they put 2-3 guys there. We decided to go a different direction, and he really gave credit to Quentin Martin, saying that it didn't matter to him one little bit that he didn't get his amount of carries or his yards. He was glad to be moving on to this stage. So first real scoring opportunity. Here is Martin trying to outrace the defense, and he's not going to get there. Beautiful job. That team speed coming up out of coverage was Kyan Johnson, senior 5'11".
It's the thing now, you have a hard time matching team speed in practice, and that's the thing when you face a team like Goretti. That team speed is one of the big factors, especially when you go side to side. That's going to be a real strong point in this ball game.
Second and goal from the 8. Locks hands to Martin once again. Little jab step in towards the end zone, but he's going to be tripped up and going to bring up a third down.
Nice job inside by number 22, Daniel Adelaran. He does a good job on that linebacker side. These linebackers are strong at backing up those four guys on the downside, but they are very, very strong as you take a look there, Coach Crosby.
Lost in the state semis a year ago. He's earned 4 District 12 championships in his first 6 seasons as the head coach of the Saints. Locke's waiting for the motion man to settle in the slot, looking to throw on 3rd down, and overcooks it.
Yeah, they were trying to put Martin in a little underneath pattern. They had their first guy on the right side go down about 5 yards and sit there. You're going to see him go down and just sit there. See him sitting out there in the wing. Now you're going to see them try to go deep to Martin, but it was a little bit too far out of the end zone.
Well, if this even winds up being 3 points, this is a win for the Neumann-Goretti defense. They're going to bring out their kicker, Willie Schwera. He's a junior. He's made all but 6 of his 66 extra points. He's only attempted 2 field goals. This team doesn't settle for field goals too often. Kick has good rotation on it, and Schwera has his 2nd field goal of the season, this one coming in the state championship. He kicked a 31-yarder earlier in the year, and those who have traveled from Belle Vernon enjoying a 3-0 lead. We've got traffic up here in the press box here. Brought their band along. I always think that's such a great idea, Jim. Youngsters supporting their football team. What a year it has been for the Leopards. Matt Humbert, 9th year, 13th year overall. He spent 4 years as a head coach at Rheingold, where he went 30-12, so over 100 career victories. Last district title for the Leopards coming back in 1995, but really not a good start for Neumann-Goretti offensively there, Jim. Their defense really bailed them out, holding Belle Vernon to just 3.
Yeah, they did a good job, and they held them inside the 10, which is what you want to see. If you're a good defense, that's where you make your money, inside that 10-yard line in that red zone, and they did a good job with it.
So Schwera having a busy first quarter here, kicking off for the 2nd time. And, of course, has the field goal and has his team on the board first. Short kick. This will be fielded by one of the up men. Boy, and I'll tell you, Belle Vernon right now emotionally a little bit more engaged in the game. That was number 3, Johnson, on the return, but he was cut down and in a hurry.
The special team's going to play a big part in this game as well. A lot of speed we talked about on that Goretti side, but Belle Vernon special teams did a great job all year long, so it'll be interesting to see how that matchup works out.
Warden is a junior, and he's a big guy. They list him at 6'7" and 227. Stands tall in that pocket, and that's where he is right now. He's looking for a bunch up top, and this one is going to be caught in bounds. Yes! That's going to be an interception, and what a play. That's Martin again, getting it done on both sides of the football.
Well, we told you what a good athlete he was, and now you're going to see on both sides of the ball, he's going to have many opportunities to go to the collegiate level, and you can see right here, look at how he concentrates, goes off his helmet, grabs it, and goes out of bounds.
Not so sure he had control of that football. Need to get 1 foot down on the high school level. Martin selling it. Play will stand as an interception for the Leopards. Their 20th interception of the year, and now Martin is in trouble here, and he's going to be thrown for a huge loss. Number 22 breaking free. That is Daniel Adolorian. Defalorian is only a sophomore. List him at 6'4". What a play.
Yeah, he came through there untouched, which is going to be a problem. You got to get somebody on him, especially because of the way he can curtail you on the outside. That speed was really, really evident on that play.
Defalorian, 35 tackles on the year. That is his 9th tackle for a loss. And the ball is loose in the middle of the field. Neumann-Goretti claiming that they have it. Boy, what an action-packed first couple of minutes we've got going on in this game, and that was alertly recovered.
Steve Macheska comes up with that football, Mike. You're going to see him in the bottom of that pile. Fortunately, he was enough sense right there to turn around and put himself on top of that ball. Macheska, one of the great stories for them.
Certainly is. He's a two-way starter, and a young man that Coach Umbert kind of coerced into coming out for football. Martin is in some trouble again, and he's back to about the original line of scrimmage. But number 58, you mentioned Macheska. He was a hockey guy, and Coach Umbert talked him into coming out to play football. He suffered a torn ACL as a sophomore, and Coach Umbert thought to himself, boy, what a job I just did. I got the guy hurt here. I'll never see him again. Well, to his surprise, Macheska has come back. He's a two-way starter. He serves as one of their captains, starter at right tackle and defensive tackle. As this thing, and now it looks like Schwerer is hurt. That's going to be a touchdown for Neumann-Goretti.
It's going to be Samuel Hobbs that comes in and gets a hold of that ball. But you're right, Mike Schwerer is hurt. That's why he couldn't get up and get on top of that ball to just give him damage control and a safety. But number 8 comes up with that. Samuel Hobbs comes up with the touchdown for Neumann-Goretti.
What a strange turn of events here, as they will attend to Schwerer will step aside while they do that, as Neumann-Goretti has scored on special teams.
It doesn't matter what part of the state you're from. One thing is certain. Pennsylvania loves sports. On the first Friday of the month, PCN takes you inside the lines at 6:30 p.m. PCN delivers insight from the people who cover sports from every corner of the Commonwealth. From high school to college to professional sports, PCN takes you inside the lines. Learn more at PCNTV.com. For over 25 years, PCN is proud to bring you exciting moments of Pennsylvania sports. From touchdowns to double plays to the butterfly stroke, PCN brings all the action right to you. PCN is a 501c3 nonprofit television network that receives no state or federal funding. Please consider a tax-deductible donation today. PCN is Pennsylvania Sports.
Concern now for Willie Schwerer, who they are helping off the field. Young man who has been heavily involved in what's going on. That's not a bad sign right there. He's able to get some pressure on it, but he had no chance here, Jim. And watch as he just kind of got caught up, and it looked like the knee gave out on him. And unfortunately for the Leopards, he wasn't able to feel that football right behind him. And instead of giving up 2 on a safety, they give up 6 and the touchdown.
Yeah, it's a very, very tough break right there for Belle Vernon. Now they're in a situation where Goretti's going to go for 2.
And that's what they've done all year, and they're just going to try and pound it into the middle of the line of scrimmage, and it will be successful. So a huge break as Hobbs, who scored the touchdown, also converts on the 2-point try. And Neumann-Goretti with an 8-3 lead. What a strange start to this championship game.
Yeah, you couldn't script that if you wanted to. That's some things that happened here. You know, give credit on the other side to Hobbs, being fortunate enough, smart enough to see that ball out there, jumped on it, got the touchdown. He had a nice rush, but the thing of it was that ball had no opportunity to be caught by Schwerer, and that's the thing that's a shame for Belle Vernon.
Jim, I think the other thing, too, for Albie Crosby's guys, we showed the replay of that interception by Martin, and questionable at best whether he had control of that football and had a foot in bounds. I think you got to give some credit to Neumann-Goretti. Hey, keep your head up, play the next play. Call might have went against you there, and you'd maybe not like it, but you hang in there, and all of a sudden you got an 8-3 lead.
Yeah, that's a good point. The thing of it is that, you know, there's no way you could really tell for the official that quickly how he was in or out, so that was a timing call by the official, but you're right. It came back, and Neumann-Goretti did not hang their heads, and they came back defensively and came up with a big fumble recovery there for the touchdown.
Yasir Williams handles their kicking duties, but again, they don't They don't, other than kicking off, this is his responsibility here. Low line drive kick and very returnable for the Leopards. And that is Martin, and he knows what to do with it when he gets his hands on the ball straight ahead. So they will start just right on the 45-yard line, upended by the kicker, Williams.
Now, this is two basic turnovers here for Belle Vernon so far in this first quarter. You had the fumble, which they were fortunate enough to recover, and then you had the bad snap. So they pretty much limited their amount of being able to have another turnover here in this quarter, or they're in deep trouble.
Matt Umbert, 4 seasons at Rheingold. He's a graduate of Laurel Highlands. This time it is locks on the keeper. Really a good athlete, 6'5", 215 pounds. He's thrown for over 930 yards. Rushing-wise, over 101 carries, 435 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
He had a big week last week in their win against Central, 131 yards, 42-yard touchdown run. So that's the thing that he came up big when Martin was boxed up last week, so that's how they balanced it out.
On 2nd down and 8, Locks rolling the pocket to his right, looking to throw back over the middle and had a man and miscued. Jim, in our open, we talked about 2 programs here for the first time. I think we're seeing a little jitters on both sides of the ball here, especially offensively.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing some jitters, and I think, you know, this one was a really open look. He had him right here. He had exactly what he wanted, and he just really let that ball sail, and that's going to be one he wants to get back. Fortunately,
that one falls incomplete. Albie Crosby, graduate of Philadelphia West Catholic, class of 1988, went on to Western Connecticut State, graduated from Virginia Union in 1992 as a wide receiver. On 3rd down, and now some confusion. No question, Belle Vernon, that's a good timeout by Coach Umbert. There's some indecision there as he tries to get things settled down. It's been a phenomenal year for them. Enter tonight's game, or this afternoon's game, on a 10-game winning streak.
Timeout, Belle Vernon, they're first.
They will use their first timeout here.
That's what I said, Mike. It's hard to simulate the speed of Neumann-Goretti in the practice, and that's the thing that I think they're having a hard time adjusting to right now. That's what they're talking about in the huddle. You got to move a little bit quicker. You got to pick your step up a little bit. Even on their zone reads, they've been a little bit slow, and that's the thing. You cannot be slow against this group defensively.
Coach Umbert was quick to give credit to 4 of his assistants, 4 of whom had been head coaches at one time or another. Line coach Scott Nee, 3 years at Laurel Highland. Zach Just, 7 years at Laurel Highland. Bo Teets, a 3-year head coach at Cal. Mike Stieber was 10 years a head coach at Fraser, and he said those guys have been invaluable to our success in terms of understanding the process and alleviating some of the pressures that a head coach will have to go through. And Jim, how many times do we hear that story on successful football programs?
Yeah, we hear that an awful lot every Friday night. That's the key. Surround yourself with a lot of talent.
That's a pretty good way to go right there, as Martin, and he may be called here for hurdling a defender. That is not allowed in the high school game. He jumped over a defender in that secondary. It really shows you his athleticism.
Personal foul, hurdling, number 25, Green. 15-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Not allowed in the high school game. As cool as it looks and as athletic as it is to do something like that,
is as unsafe as it is on the other hand, and that's the exact why they have the rule, because it's a safety factor. And you know, the young man has to understand that it's not that you can't hurdle people because you're good at it, which is great, but the thing of it is, it's a safety factor. If somebody catches his foot when he's up in the air, that could be a major problem.
He's entertaining over 30 FBS offers. He scored 3 touchdowns against Avonworth in the Whippeal Championship game. Jim referenced how he was more of a decoy last week. he'll be a lot more than a decoy this week if things go their way. Locks looking and had a man open, and again, they have had some things in the passing game that they have not taken full advantage of. Martin was open, couldn't make the catch.
Yeah, you got to be able to connect on these. These are vital plays. He got good protection here. That's the key. Rolling out to his right, and then he's just overthrown back. You know, he's going that back shoulder most of the time, and you don't want to do that. You want to throw forward, and he's been having problems with that all this afternoon.
Martin has 27 catches, another 400 yards there at abouts, 6 touchdowns. Well, who handles the punting units now for Belle Vernon? Was number 11, Tanner Stieber. Stieber is a backup quarterback and their holder. So when you lose Schwarha, you lose your punter, you lose your kicker. Kickoff guy, so they'll have to make some adjustments there, things that you don't expect you're going to have to do when you get into a state championship game.
And then there's the looks of that look good that he's going to be back in the ball game. So that's a big loss for them right now.
Willie has a younger brother, Timmy, who is a freshman on the roster. Good effort there, obviously, by Stieber. That's a scenario you have to believe, Jim, that, man, they don't spend a lot of time working on a second-team punter, you know, throughout the course of a year.
Illegal substitution. 12 men on the field. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Yeah, first time. This is the biggest stage for both these programs. Certainly Albie Crosby, we send along our condolences to him. He lost his mom, Brenda Brown, last Saturday, as a matter of fact. Mom was going to be 74 years old. We send along our condolences to him. He said, I had a great relationship with my mom. He said that was a tough pill to swallow. He said, but it was nice to have these young men to be around who were very supportive of him, returning the love that he gives to them. We asked him about how he's been so successful around these young men, and he talked about the first word he used, Jim, was love. He said, you know, I give him love. He said, I'm not a guy who coaches on that sideline and does it, you know, by having these kids fear me. I show them love first, and, you know, hopefully that translates to them. It certainly has worked for Albie Crosby.
Yeah, he's been very successful everywhere he's been, so you know that his philosophy works. You know, his time at West Catholic, his time, you know, at Imhotep. The thing of it is, it's been very, very successful. So it's an interesting philosophy, and he tries to instill that in his coaches as well.
Lo and behold, another defensive play that results in a loss. Wharton looking to throw, slings it sidearm and gets it onto the numbers of Anthony Zungolo. Zungolo, a senior, has a couple of touchdowns receiving on the year. That is a well-executed play and a first down for the Saints.
Yeah, that was a great throw there. Zungolo, that's a tough catch right there, and then great job of putting it where he needed to, right between a couple of Belle Vernon defenders. So that was a nice throw. It looked like a little sidearm action. You're right, Mike.
Zungolo settling in a nice open area there. Doesn't have big numbers offensively. One of his bigger receptions of the year for the 5'11 senior. Keep it on the ground here on first down. Again, Goins and Page are expected to share the reps there, and that was Page. He's a freshman, 6 foot, 62 carries on the year, 215 yards. A couple of ninth graders are going to grow up in a hurry here this afternoon, Jim.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a spot of a guy who produced a lot of yardage in battle, so they got a big shoes to fill here this afternoon.
Page carried 3 times last week for just 10 yards. Picks up 3 here. Wharton trying to set up a screen. It does so successfully. And that play is going to result into a first down. That was Goins. Make that Kahari Reed. Kahari Reed on the middle screen.
Very well executed. A little bit of a slip on the block or on the tackle there at first that gives him an opportunity to get up into the second level, so he does a nice job and get a good gain out of it.
Well, Reed listed as a defensive starter. Not a lot of offensive numbers for him as well. So it's all hands on deck right now for Neumann-Goretti, showing some good depth. Now back to the running game. Page getting the call.
There's not much you can do in your game plan when your best player is out, because of the fact you got everything pretty much skill level down pat. So you're going to have to run these guys in here with, opportunities as you take a look at Battle there on the sidelines.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough.
Without Sean Battle, he is also one of their captains, got involved in an altercation, and they pleaded his case with it. It obviously did not go their way. Battle will have a little more football to play, though. He's going to play in the prestigious Army All-American game next week in Dallas, Texas. That game is next Saturday. He's committed to Boston College. He's a senior. 190 yards and a touchdown in last week's win. Third down and short. Well, only needed a yard, and I don't think so. And Belle Vernon is claiming that football may have came out. And Wharton, there was no push at all there, is denied first down yardage. It's going to bring up fourth down.
That was a nice push by the middle of that defensive line there. You can see, that's very, very tough situation. Get, very, very few inches in there, and they didn't get it.
I fully expect they're going to go here. Made a trio of substitutions with some bigger bodies, and they are all lined up in that backfield right now. Wharton is up under center. They need less than a yard. They give it to the first back, and just barely getting it across the 45-yard line and the necessary yards for a first down. Handed it off to number 44. That was Carice Bradley. Bradley's a rare carry for him.
Another guy filling in, Mike, but done a nice job of getting what they needed. Only a sophomore, so he's playing a lot of young kids here this afternoon on a big stage.
20 seconds now, counting down. It looks like Albie Crosby and Neumann-Goretti going to be content to let this first quarter wind down. Huge play on special teams. A miscue by Belle Vernon. The difference in this opening quarter as Neumann-Goretti, the Saints 8. Belle Vernon, the Leopards 3. We've played one in this, the PIAA Championship game.
That is it in the first quarter. New score.
It doesn't matter what part of the state you're from. One thing is certain. Pennsylvania loves sports. On the first Friday of the month, PCN takes you inside the lines at 6:30 p.m. PCN delivers insight from the people who cover sports from every corner of the Commonwealth. From high school to college to professional sports, PCN takes you inside the lines. Learn more at PCNTV.com. For over 25 years, PCN is proud to bring you exciting moments of Pennsylvania sports. From touchdowns to double plays to the butterfly stroke, PCN brings all the action right to you. PCN is a 501c3 nonprofit television network that receives no state or federal funding. Please consider a tax-deductible donation today. PCN is Pennsylvania sports.
Stream this championship and more anytime, anywhere, on demand with PCN Select. Learn more at PCNTV.com. Second quarter with Neumann-Goretti. No stranger, of course, Neumann-Goretti to championship environment. Their boys and girls basketball programs have had their fair share of success. Carl Arrogale, the men's head coach, and Andrea Peterson. Boy, what a job they have done. That ball may have been picked off. It was tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it will indeed be an interception, and that is Braden Locks coming up with the turnover.
Yeah, poor decision that time. You don't want to throw into the middle. It does get tipped a little bit. You're going to see right here. There it is, the tip right there, and then great job. That's a very athletic play by Locks to go out there and grab that ball. That's a big, big turnover here for Belle Vernon.
That was Macheska, the young man that we talked about serving as a captain. Young man that coach coerced into coming out to play some football. He laminated on him too. He said, boy, is he a treat to have in the locker room too. He's a fun-loving young guy. He keeps things light, makes a huge play here in the state championship game. Trailing 8-3, they go to work, and that play fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage if it did that.
You see, once again, they're going to, as you see, number 10, Jake Jetico coming with the carry. What happens is, Mike, again, they're using Martin as a decoy in the slot. Again, he came in motion, so that takes a lot of people with him to the opposite side of the field. They're trying to run back to that side, but they didn't really fool anybody on that ready line.
Second interception of the game for the Leopards, and now 21 on the season. Just have been really disruptive defensively. Here is Martin, got a good block on the edge, and is ushered out of bounds right at about midfield. A gain of close to 7 on first down.
Here you're going to see number 2, Colton Lee, coming in motion. He's the guy that gave him the block. They were creeping up on that edge, and he caught him there. Very nice job of getting him the outside.
Third down.
Martin, blockers out in front, and he'll have enough for a Belle Vernon first down.
Well, you knew at some point you're going to see a direct snap, a wildcat formation for Martin, because he's just too good. You got to get the ball in his hands a lot of the time of the ball game. So good job. And look at Locke's giving him a block upfield. That's when you know your quarterback likes physical contact, when you saw that right there.
Well, he's a multi-talented young man, as you has referenced. He's returned a couple of punts for a touchdown on the season. He's got 3 interceptions, 4 with the one he has here today. He's returned one of those for a touchdown. So no matter where they put him, he's a threat to certainly score. And a successful play here once again on first down. You'll take 4 or 5 yards every time you punch it in there, especially on first down.
And the thing of it is, Mike, they're starting to get in rhythm, starting to be able to move the sticks a little bit, starting to feel themselves into motion, starting to get some good blocks. That's what you want to see happen here. Settle down and be able to play your type of football.
I think the settle down part of that is the key. A little bit unnerved, and now scrambling over there to the left side is Colton Lee. Martin going in that direction, and he's going to get cut down for yet another loss. That's Samuel Hobbs. Hobbs has recovered that miscue on special teams. He's the team's leading tackler with 73 on the year.
Did a nice job of just leaning in. He caught the gap early, leaned inside, and he's awfully tough to deal with, Mike. He's a really good athlete, 6'1", 192, has a Syracuse offer in his future, so a lot of people looking at him as well. With that kind of play, you can tell why.
He had an 11 tackle game in their win last week against Wyomissing. Beat them 20-17. Loss of close to 3 on the play. Makes it 3rd and 13. They go back to Martin. And Martin's going to get a good piece of it where it'll bring up a much more manageable 4th down. That was Jetico on the carry. I apologize. I think if you run it on that on 3rd down, you're going to run it again here on 4th down.
Yeah, there's no secret which they want to do, and they want to run the football, and that's exactly what they're doing right here, and this is going to be a big key 4th down for them.
Jetico's been a good compliment to Martin. 700 plus yards. Well, this might change your thinking.
Substitution, 12 men on the field. Repeat 4th down.
And that really has the ire of head coach Matt Umbert. He shared with us, he said, one of the reasons we're in this environment is we've been a disciplined, focused team, and we are not. I'm sure he's telling them we're not that right now. He talked about this game's going to come down to, we're so evenly matched, who's going to make mistakes, who's going to miss assignments, and you know, this first half has been filled with them for Belle Vernon. So that makes it 4th and 9.
That changes your philosophy a ton right now if you're him.
Well, he's Got Locks. Still got that little pooch punt if you want it, but they're going to go here. Locks is setting up in the pocket, fires, and he has his man. It's complete to Rakonen. Rakonen, a 6-foot senior, 19 catches on the year, 312 yards. Big conversion on 4th down and 9.
And great coverage there, giving him a lot of time to throw the ball, waited till everything happened. Rakonen comes across the middle, does a nice job sitting in the middle of that zone.
Boy, is that a gutsy call, especially when things are not going your way and you're knocked off rhythm a little bit. Locks with his best throw of the game. That snap almost, I don't know if that was supposed to go directly to Martin. He just kind of took the snap as he was racing across the formation.
Yeah, he says, I'm here now, I might as well take it. Watch this, it comes off, comes off his arm, and then hits the turf and comes up.
They're fortunate they still have the football. That snap was supposed to go to Locks, and Martin hadn't cleared yet. They are very fortunate to maintain possession of the football. Locks again, here is Martin. Able to turn it upfield. Driven out of bounds, but they're going to be behind the chains.
Second time today that they've gotten a favorable bounce, Mike, on a turnover. So it's two of the things that you look at when you look at turnovers and ability to come back from them. Two of them bouncing their way here.
You mentioned Martin being sought after by the next level colleges. 6'3", a little tall for a running back in this day and age. Faced with a 3rd down and 10. Pressure coming from the outside, and Locke's going to have no chance. Throws it away, and this is going to be an interesting call here. I think that has to be intentional grounding.
Knee was down before he threw the ball.
That's a different call. Because if that knee is not down, then we explained that rule. It's either 3 paces right or left. Let's see if he gets 3. 1, 2, 3. Now the left knee ruled down there. The other part of that is the football has to go past the line of scrimmage. Is the knee down? Yeah, could have gone either way. Could have made that call either way, and they made it in the direction of Belle Vernon. Of course, the loss takes it all the way back to the 38-yard line.
Timeout. Belle Vernon, their second.
Yeah, they're going to want to talk it over here right now. He just wants to calm this group down. I'm sure that's the thing. He's upset with some of the mistakes, obviously, bad formations and those kind of things. And that's the thing he's going to try to talk to him about now. Dial up a really good play on 4th and 20.
Albie Crosby works for a company called Battle. He's a sales representative. Now Battle is they provide uniforms and mouthpieces, and you'll see that on the players over there. Obviously they're one of his clients. Uniforms, really known, the mouthpieces that have the design on it and that. He says we're really big with that. He said we're kind of a young company right now, but Neumann-Goretti outfitted in those uniforms.
You can see it's in a lot of different areas. There you see it on the pants of one of the assistant coaches. So it's an interesting combination.
We mentioned his mom who passed away last week. Those hoodies that they are wearing have the initials of mom on it as well. Brenda Brown. He's an engaging young man. I'll tell you what, he loves the sport of football. Mentioned he was offensive coordinator when Philadelphia West Catholic won the title in 2010. Locks with a ton of time. He's going to take a shot downfield, and that is going to fall incomplete. So after the short field, I'll tell you what, that's 2 big wins for this defense. 6:10 to go. You're watching the PIAA Championship game here on PCN.
6:10 left to play in the first half. We have immediate timeout.
Nobody covers state politics like PCN. Our nonpartisan coverage shows the whole event as it happens, without an agenda. As a 501c3 nonprofit public affairs network, we're dedicated to bringing you unbiased coverage as a public service. If you're tired of negative politics and mudslinging ads and want to continue to see the whole story, donate to PCN today.
A PCN Select subscription is more than a single championship. It's a year of Pennsylvania sports. PCN Select is a great value for all seasons. Previous PIAA Championships, sports profiles, inside the lines, PIAA books about Pennsylvania sports, and PCN Sports Classics, all on demand. Check out PCNTV.com for more details. PCN is Pennsylvania sports.
Difference in this football game, Jim, has been the play of the Neumann-Goretti defense. They have, on a number of occasions here, specifically twice, been put in really bad positions. Gave up a field goal on the first one, and here they keep Belle Vernon after the interception out of the end zone. Not only that, they take over at the 38-yard line. And on first down to throw a little behind, this might be another interception. Absolutely, the ball popped out of the intended receiver's hands, and it looked like, is that number 19, Adam LeCarte?
Well, the coaches told us before the game he's one of their best defenders, and you can see he's right place, right time again, as this ball is going to go in and out of the hands of number 11 right there, Quasim Major, and that's the kind of thing that another turnover takes place, and Belle Vernon gets an advantage here again to get the ball back.
5th of the year for the free safety. He's returned one of them for a touchdown. Adam, by the way, is the team's leading tackler with 75. That'll touch unusual for a free safety, but he is that kind of a player. So again, sudden change defense for Neumann-Goretti out there. Locks on the keeper.
I think this is one of the things Locks is going to have to do a little bit more of here to keep them honest. That zone read right there, that time he kept the ball, got him upfield, got a little hitch in his giddy up there though, Mike. That's not a good sign though.
UPMC is proud to support PCN's live coverage of the PIAA Football Championships as this year's scoreboard sponsor. UPMC is committed to treating and preventing sports injuries in student athletes. UPMC, life-changing medicine. Back-to-back running plays. Appears, and it will be enough for a first down for Belle Vernon.
Good job again by Martin getting what he needed to get right there. Needed 4, got it. Nice play up the middle. Good job blocking up front by the guys on that offensive line. Dylan DeWitt, Dave Levine, Steve Macheska we talked about, Jake Heckel, the center, Luke Byer. Those guys are doing a good job up front, opening up some holes to get those first downs.
Locks checking with the sideline on 1st and 10. We'll keep it here. Finding some success now, running straight ahead. It's very interesting, and forward progress still pushing towards the end zone. 13 yards and another Leopards first down.
That's what I said. He's got to start keeping that a little bit more, and that's what he's been doing here. It's been very successful. Because look at the attention right there that Martin got. He got the defender to go 3 steps with him to the outside. So that's how you got to read that play, and he did a great job with it.
4 minutes and change remaining first half, and there again is that Neumann-Goretti defense. Martin trying to go off left tackle. What a play coming off the edge by Corin Robinson, the 6'1 junior.
Yeah, the thing of it is, Mike, that mesh is slow, and they're getting advantages inside. They're getting around inside, and they're getting right in the middle of that mesh, and they're not being able to get that handoff off or get any yardage whatsoever.
Robinson will catch a breather. Program that has been driven by that semifinal round loss to Wyomissing a year ago, able to atone for that. Loss of a yard on the play. On 2nd down and 11, it is Martin on a sweep trying to get to the edge, and he will not get there. I'll tell you, a couple of these big guys for Neumann-Goretti can get around this field. That is Bradley, the sophomore. 47 tackles on the year, including 8 last week in their win against Wyomissing.
Well, it's their pursuit, Mike. Look at the way they can pursue the speed. They can just there's 4 or 5 guys that end up on the play. Their ability to pursue to the ball carrier. That's why those wide things with the speed sweep right now are not working.
Bradley tracking down a guy that's got some awfully good speed, I'll tell you. 3rd down and 12.
Timeout. Neumann-Goretti. They're first.
Neumann-Goretti will use one of their timeouts. Comes with 3:42 to go here till halftime. Stay with us at the break. Doug Heater will be joining us here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network as we break down what has happened in this half. Really strange first half, I think, is the best way to put it, Jim. Some really unusual plays. We haven't seen, I mean, we have 2 teams averaging over 30 points a game. We haven't seen an offensive touchdown.
Yeah, it's been a strange half. You're right. It's very few times you see him. You know, obviously the center snap was a bad play, and then they end up getting the touchdown out of it. And, you know, it's a poor break for them because they lose their kicker, who's now on crutches on the sideline. So there's a lot of different moving parts here that happened in this first half that are not good.
Well, we asked the question in the open. You know, we got 2 really dynamic offenses, 2 great defenses. Which wins out? I think our answer is the defenses. Certainly Belle Vernon has forced 3 turnovers, and her offense hasn't been able to do anything with it. And for Neumann-Goretti, I mean, they're just playing, turning on play. Mentioned coming in 95 tackles for losses on the year, and they've added a handful of them at least here in the first half.
You hear people say all the time, well, they got a nose for the ball, nose for the ball. This whole defense has a nose where the ball's at because they just don't move one, they move in unison, and that's a credit to that guy right there. A great job of coaching these guys up on the defensive side of the ball.
Neumann-Goretti at one point this year was 3-3. It lost to William Penn Charter, Bonner Prendy, and Conwell Egan. They have since won 8 in a row. Here's Locks trying to extend the play. He picks up a key block. This is thrown up for grabs, and boy, Neumann-Goretti missed a great opportunity there. 2 guys with a good shot at it. Reed, number 4, and 24 was Khalil Green, and they just couldn't get on the same page.
Yeah, and what happened is Jaden Todd runs into him, and that really became a plus for
Illegal block below the
Belle
waist.
Vernon.
Number 10.
Now you're going to see they're really sending these guys on the blitz from the linebacker position, and then you're going to see that block right there is what they're going to call the flag on.
That was a block below the waist. I'll tell you what, Bradley's got a strong lower body. That's a 10th grader. I mean, he took a shot and then never got knocked to the ground.
Make no mistake, people, these are like car accidents out there. These people are hitting.
Number 10, 15-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Yeah, I don't think we're seeing the best version of this Belle Vernon football team here in this first half. I mean, you're looking at a play like that where you get a block below the waist. Ball probably should have been intercepted it the other way. I mean, there's really not a lot of good happening on that play all the way around offensively for the Leopards.
They've dodged a lot of bullets here, Mike. You know, only to be down right now 8-3. That's the thing. If you look on the plus side, because, you know, as we said, 2 of those fumbles bounced back into their hands, a couple of dropped interceptions, and, you know, the penalties have hurt them as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here on 3rd and 36.
Yeah, I don't think you tried too much here. No, they will. They're going to throw it up near side. And this is shot to be caught. No, it'll be knocked away. That's Reed again in coverage.
Pass is rolled incomplete.
So 3:27 to go. And now we'll see. Again, they are without their punter kicker. Schwera has been on crutches with that knee heavily taped, so it'll be Stieber once again. Out in punt formation. And just to reiterate again, I mean, it's hard enough to get ready for games like this. This is a big spot, and Stieber's going to do a good job here. Wow, and dangerously close was Williams. That ball hit the turf and nearly got a piece of him. What a mistake that would have been.
And they got a great roll out of this too, Mike. So it's going to put them in good field position for their defense. But
that's good job by Stieber.
Very good job by Stieber. like you said, he doesn't get many reps in practice for sure, just being the backup punter. So that's an excellent job.
I'm a little surprised, special teams wise, that Neumann-Goretti didn't go after him. They set up a return, and Stieber delivered with a good effort. So Saints start from their own 20. They have 2 timeouts remaining. Wharton out of the pistol. Good second effort. Handoff to Terrence Page. And again, if you are just tuning into our coverage, Terrence Page splitting the running duties with Amaj Goins. Senior captain Sean Battle not available because of being ejected in last week's game. So unable to play here this afternoon. Gain of 4 on first down. Saints keep it on the ground. Again, getting the call was Page.
And they're just starting to get into their rhythm, Mike, because of the fact that when you don't have Battle, things change a lot because he created so much offensive firepower for them in a lot of different angles. So they're trying to figure it out here right now, the best way to move that ball down the field.
You know, the other thing, too, we talked about Albie Crosby. There you get a look at Sean Battle once again. And Albie Crosby, he teaches these guys or preaches to these guys to fight for your brother, and that's what they're doing here in this first half. This hasn't been real pretty for Neumann-Goretti either, but somehow they have an 8-3 lead.
Yeah, they were fortunate. Hobbs was the right man, the right place to come up with that ball in the end zone. So, you know, as you said, not an offensive juggernaut on either side of the ball. That's a great catch right there. That's a nice job of coming and getting that. Denham Smith's one of his favorite receivers. He was injured against Scranton Prep earlier in the year, but he's come back to be strong from that injury.
That's the 4th first down for Neumann-Goretti. Football now out to the 34-yard line.
Parker Jewell on the stop. They told us before the game that he was one of their best linebackers on defense.
Well, he's another one of those guys. They only have 7 seniors that Coach Humbert recruited into the program. Jewell is an outstanding golfer. I tried to get his handicap. Nobody would tell me. They got Wharton on the move there. He's going to get tripped up. These two teams are very good defensively.
They're like cat-like speed on both sides. You're going to see number 22, Tanner Moody, come up with a big play right there as he gets a handout.
Neumann-Goretti, they're second.
Brett Barish is the defensive coordinator for the Leopards. And he just said, we'd really do a good job. We've got guys that are built to play defense. They gave us an interesting stat on them, and it's something for you folks pulling for Neumann-Goretti. Defensively for Belle Vernon, they have not given up a second half point in a game dating back to week 3. I'm going to say that again. They have not given up a second half point going back to week 3, and of course doing that last week against Wyomissing in the Final Four of the state tournament is a goal or an accomplishment that really obviously speaks for itself, and it's a big reason why they're in this game. So, there's an old saying that defenses win championships. I mean, if you're Albie Crosby, you've turned it over 3 times in the first half. You have a chance to go into the locker room leading by 5.
Yeah.
How well has your defense played?
And we knew it coming in, as we talked about in the open. Both defenses were going to have a big afternoon, and I said I'd be surprised if we see a lot of points scored, and it's been true to form so far right now.
Pretty important play coming up in this game. Each team has a timeout remaining. Belle Vernon trying to give that offense one more shot. Wharton looking to throw. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket. Flips it. It'll fall incomplete. So Belle Vernon will get Neumann-Goretti into a punting scenario. Recall their first punt this afternoon that really never really got into the air. It just rolled. I tell you, both defenses have created chaos and forced the opposing offense into scenarios that they're certainly not comfortable with.
Yeah, that's what they want to do. They want to make you very, very uncomfortable if they can.
Goins is listed as their punter. That's. I mean, he barely has enough room to kick that thing. Nobody back there, and he got this one to turn over. So you see what they're trying to accomplish with that.
I think that'll be something that the Belle Vernon coaches will look at halftime as well, to maybe shoot a gap or two there on that inside, because he is a low line drive kicker when he kicks it.
Yeah, he barely has enough room to get it past his center. So a really good effort there by Wharton. As the ball rolled, he got it to turn over all the way down to the 12-yard line. And I would think that would affect the play calling for Belle Vernon, simply because both teams look so uncomfortable offensively, Joe.
Yeah, and it's credit to the defense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's the thing. These defenses have made them feel uncomfortable all of this entire first half. And, like on their side, if you look at Belle Vernon, the speed sweeps don't work because of the speed of the defense on the other side. If you look at the other way, the defensive backs have had a couple interceptions. That's the other thing. They're trying a couple of different things here with a backwards pitch. That might be something different that they hadn't seen so far. So going to be a lot of adjustments made at halftime to try to get some different things going for both offenses.
Martin on the counter. Got a good block on the end, but that's a heck of a job there by Deshaun Dotson. You talked about number 52 in the open. I mean, he just didn't leave any running room there for Martin. He strong-armed the line of scrimmage, set that edge, and there was nowhere to go with it. Pass here will be knocked down and fall incomplete. In coverage there was Yasir Williams.
And see, it's that speed when you come across the field and you catch up with people. That's the thing that they have that's so hard to simulate in practice, and your receivers are not used to that. They're used to playing against people with maybe mediocre speed. They're getting themselves open. That pass was usually complete, but this time that breakdown at the end is really hard to go against.
Sir Williams in coverage there, one of the captains for the Saints. Good athlete. Senior, 63-yard kick return for a touchdown on the year. Martin going to take, no, actually that was number 10, Jedico. Now I'm thinking
First down.
here.
Timeout, Belle Vernon, 3rd and final.
Well, and when you have a guy like Martin, you use that timeout. You're in a state championship game. You don't want to waste any opportunity that you might have to be able to put points on the board. Leopards came into the season in our pregame chat with Matt Humbert, and he said, we knew we had some good things going. He said, especially defensively. You asked him, did you think that they could be that dominant? And he said, absolutely. He said, we had a lot of guys back from last year's team. They were disappointed. We got the program going in the right direction. We haven't gotten those wins late in the year. I mean, our ultimate goal is obviously not just to be here, to win this game. And they're here on the strength of that defense. And right now, that defense has them very much in this football game.
Yeah, and you talked about, how they've been not giving up points after that third game of the year. They had a really tough opening schedule. Laurel, McKeesport, Penn Trafford. They lost 2 out of those 3. And that really set them up for success, because that's when they learned how to take everything in stride. And defensively, they got a lot tougher after that third game, and you heard the statistics. So that's very, very impressive.
See what kind of shot they take here. Trying to run that speed sweep once again. Jedico trying to turn the corner. He's got first down yardage. Leopards now out of timeouts.
Looks like a first down for the Leopards, finishing 10 on the 36-yard line.
Saints of Neumann-Goretti in a prevent defense. Safety's close to 30 yards off the line of scrimmage. Hand it to Martin. That's always dangerous. Going to skip out of bounds, leaves 5 seconds on the clock.
That's what you see with all the great ones, Mike. They create opportunities for little yards, big yards. Take a look at it here. Now he goes through goes through the hole, and then he's thinking to say, well, I got to move to the outside. Nope, I got to move again. I might have to go, another move yet, but I didn't have an opportunity because of the sideline. But that's how you tell the really, really good backs, the way he maneuvered himself there.
Now, you always talk about the footwork, and there was some fancy footwork going on during that run. Another first down out to the 48-yard line. Locks might be looking for a little hook and lateral. I don't know that this was properly set up. I think that was a forward lateral, and there are some flags out on the play. Tried to flip it back to Martin, but Martin actually got ahead of the pitch guy. And I would think we're going to head to the locker room. Keep in mind, this is a Belle Vernon defense.
We have an illegal forward pass. Involves loss of down, therefore the half is over.
Not pretty for the offenses. The defense is standing tall. The Saints 8, the Leopards 3. Doug Heater will take us through halftime when we return.
Did you know you can watch all of your favorite PCN originals and more at home or on the go? Download the PCN app on your favorite device and tune in to see what makes Pennsylvania's heart beat. Watch videos on demand, see multiple live streams, and check out the free selected programs and events. PCN, Pennsylvania Politics and Policy, History and Culture, Sports, and more.
Slam dunk, home run, touchdown, goal! However you score, do it with PCN, bringing you sports coverage every season. Watch live and stream on demand. With coverage this good, you'll be a part of the action on cable and the PCN app.
Welcome back to Cumberland Valley High School. Halftime, that is the correct score, 8-3, Neumann-Goretti leading Belle Vernon on the strength of a special teams touchdown. If you love defense, it always seems like this is my MO when I come here on Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons for the state championship game. Last year I had the 3A final between Wyomissing and Central Valley. Same deal. The only difference is it's a little bit sunnier. But if you love defense and you love field position, that's the type of game that we have here between Neumann-Goretti and Belle Vernon. Nerves potentially a factor for both of these teams, as well as both of them are playing in their first ever state championship game. But this second half should be outstanding. We've had 4 good games so far, but this one could potentially be the best of the bunch, with both offenses looking to potentially steal something here in the second half. It'll be fun to kind of discuss what adjustments we might see, because both offenses are struggling a little bit in field position in the kicking game will be big, especially with the Leopards having to turn to a different punter with their starting punter injured on a play that we'll get to in just a minute. Let's talk about defense, and we're going to start with the team that's leading in Neumann-Goretti. They have played solid defensively, except for giving up just 20 yards on the field goal drive that gave Belle Vernon the early lead. It's going to start with some defense by number 58 and Jabril Nuruddin. He's going to start things off defensively. It's been a great job by the defensive line. Then Daniel Adelafin also comes in and makes a big play defensively, as they've done a pretty solid job of keeping Quentin Martin in check. Then the high snap on the punt. Sam Hobbs is heads up. He recovers it for a touchdown. As the punter was injured, he hurt his knee and he wasn't able to continue on. Then Hobbs he's able to get the quarterback and locks in the backfield. They've made some plays positively. Tackles for loss. Khalil Hill makes a play in the backfield as well. So defensively, this Neumann-Goretti team has been a challenge. They're also a little bit concerned when Neumann-Goretti brings in Jonathan Blue, big number 60. Belle Vernon's trying to stay away and run away basically from him, but you've got to give this Neumann-Goretti defense a lot of props for being able to hem in a guy like Quentin Martin. Although he's had a couple of long runs today, they haven't allowed him to really break free and get open. Speaking of number 25, we knew that he was going to be the main focal point for this Leopard offense, and he has been here in the first half. They've been able to run a little jet sweep. They've been able to run a little power with him. But let's take a look at what he's been able to do in this opening half. Hey, James Franklin is here, of course, right, from Penn State. He's probably looking at 25 to see what he can do offensively. So we'll take a look at Quentin Martin and how this Leopard team has been able to run with him efficiently. So he was key on the 6-play, 20-yard drive because he had that 20-yard run. Then they will run a little toss sweep to him, got some good perimeter blocking downfield. Colton Lee with a really nice block. They run a little outside power with him. He's able to get through. Now, he did have the hurdling penalty, which he said to the sideline, hey, they're going right after my knees, but he also played defensively with a big interception on Neumann-Goretti's second drive of the game to get things going, to spark things up offensively for his team. So statistically, they kept Martin in check, but you know he's going to be a big factor here in this second half. So when you look at what this team is doing in Neumann-Goretti, they want to get a little bit more consistency going offensively and to establish a run game. Listen, they have turned to Terrence Page as part of those guys with battles out of this game. They want to get more consistency and not put as much pressure on their quarterback and Mekhi Wharton. And as far as Belle Vernon, they were satisfied with the field goal but disappointed. Both of these teams know when they get across on the positive side of the 50-yard line, or especially in the red zone, they need to come away with points. So keep an eye on what Wharton's going to do offensively for Neumann-Goretti in that second half, and keep an eye on what Q Martin is going to do offensively for this Belle Vernon team. It'll be fun to see what the adjustments these coaches have. 8-3 at halftime. We'll take a look back at last night's 5A championship when we return.
Relive the action with PCN. Did you know you can rewatch this and other PIAA championships with the PCN Select streaming service? You can also purchase digital downloads, Blu-rays, and DVDs of PIAA sports championships on the PCN store. PCN brings you the PIAA championships in a variety of sports. From the field to the pool and the court to the track, PCN brings you the best scholastic teams competing on the state's biggest stage from all the best angles. With multiple cameras, instant replay, and professional commentary, we take high school sports and elevate them to new heights. Watch on cable and the PCN app. PCN, proud to bring Pennsylvania sports to you.
Welcome back once again to Chapman Field on the campus of Cumberland Valley High School. Neumann-Goretti in the 3A championship, leading Belle Vernon here out of District 7, 8-3, in a defensive battle that'll be fun to watch in the second half. Speaking of a game that was fun to watch last night, we had the 5A championship between a team in Pine Richland that was looking for their third ever state championship, taking on Imhotep Charter. We'll take a look back at how things went. This is the opening Pine Richland drive. Ethan Pillar had a solid game on the ground running the football, especially early on from that pistol formation, but Ryan Palmieri was our Lebanon Valley College player of the game. Here's a long run for Palmieri on a scramble. Unfortunately, this doesn't go as well as the Ram fans would have liked. He completes a pass to Andrew Mellis that gets him inside the 10-yard line for first and goal, but on fourth and goal, the snap goes over Palmieri's head, so an opportunity by the Rams is wasted, and they turn it over on downs. Meanwhile, on the other side of things for Imhotep and the Panthers, Michael Davis, the quarterback, finds one of his favorite targets in Corey Downing for a nice completion to get them in scoring position. Then he'll find Johan Hennigan, who has had a big season and a big game last night as well. That pass completed, and then he goes back to Downing. How about this play? It covers 52 yards. Beautiful pass on a deep slant route as Downing creates separation from the defender, and Imhotep on their second series takes a 7-0 lead, but the Rams aren't done. They're going to come back on the strength of Pillar's blocking and Palmieri's running. A long run that puts them inside Panther territory, and then from 4 yards out, Palmieri, of course, is going to get that opportunity behind Big 44 again and the right side of his offensive line to power it in, and we have a 7-7 game. Probably the play of the game. Opening possession, third quarter. Palmieri on a pass intended for Johan Hennigan. He gets a pick play by one of our officials. Palmieri steps in and takes the distance for the pick six. Worst guy that could make the interception if you're a Panther fan, because he has the ability to score. 14-7 Rams go up. Then offensively, Palmieri again on a little quarterback draw will power through this Panther defense for a nice positive pickup. He would also find one of his favorite targets this season in Brad Gelly. Yelley's number 17 finds him deep as he creates some separation on a beautifully placed pass by Palmieri. Palmieri's not done offensively from the 1-yard line. He will power it in for his second rushing touchdown of the game, third overall, to give them a 21-7 lead. And defensively, they got some help by some of the younger players last night. How about Sam Heckert, the sophomore, who was injured later in the game, steps up for a pass intended for Hennigan, and he's able to make the interception return, which sets up another Palmieri. Well, this is a pass this time, no run. He finds Luke Rudolph, appropriately named here in December. This play covers 30 yards at the 28-7 lead. They would go on to win it 28-14, win their third ever state championship. And for John Ladon, the first-year head coach, he would win in his first year after winning a state title 5 years ago at Penn Hills. Great job by the Rams last night. Now let's take a look at the scores from a couple of the games that we've seen already. We go all the way back to Thursday in the Single A Championship. Stilton High Spire out of District 3 would knock off District 7's Union 22-8. In the 4A Championship at night, and if you love offense, you'll love this game. Bishop McDevitt all over Aliquippa. McDevitt from District 3, Aliquippa, of course, from District 7. 41-18 is your final. Then we move to yesterday. Southern Columbia, they did it again. 6 in a row, 13th overall. They outlasted Westinghouse with a brutal running game, winning that one 37-22. And the one we just showed you, Pine Richland, winning the game 28-14 over Imhotep, who has now lost back-to-back state titles at this 4A level. So we've seen some pretty solid games so far. A lot of people that expected this one coming in, even with the services of Sean Battle, if he was available, expected this one to go into the mid-20s or so and potentially go into an overtime type scenario. We may see that. Jim Wills and Mike Zambelli take you home through the third and fourth quarter as once again Neumann-Goretti leads Belle Vernon 8-3 at the half.
Ready to sponsor the PIAA Championships? Get your business off the sidelines and into the game. Contact us at PCNTV.com or send us an email at sponsor@PCNTV.com. PCN is Pennsylvania Sports.
PCN brings you sports the way you want it, the way you expect it. For the best of PIAA sports, watch PCN. See the upcoming schedule at PCNTV.com/sports. PCN is Pennsylvania Sports. Why would you go anywhere else?
Neumann-Goretti with an 8-3 advantage as we welcome you back upstairs here, moments away from the start of our second half. Mike Zambelli joined by Jim Wills. Don't you have to love that Doug Heater? Only he could get so much out of an 8-3 game at the half, right?
Exactly. He did a good job of breaking it down.
He was the best. Well, you know, he loves that. Brandon Nobles should be here for this one as well. I mean, it was. I mean, if you like defense, that's what you saw in the second half. And particularly for Neumann-Goretti, the sudden change defense, I mean, they were really put in some bad positions in that first half and held them to 3 points.
You know, I think another thing that we didn't bring out that much in the first half, Mike, was Goretti knew that they were without their best offensive weapon and that they were going to have to kick that defense up even another notch, and they absolutely did here in this first half.
Certainly have as well. And, of course, for Belle Vernon, a team that has also been very disruptive defensively, they came up with 3 interceptions but couldn't do anything with it. They had a couple of short fields. It was disruptive, their inability, however, to move the football from there, and obviously they only had to settle for the 3 points. And now the Leopards are without their kicker and their punter as well. Let's look at the stats, and obviously they're going to reflect what the defenses have done. We have only seen 5 completed passes. I mean, these are 2 potent offenses. I mean, look at the minuscule numbers that you're looking at. 5 completed passes and 16 attempts combined. Just, 59 yards there. The running game has been really limited. Belle Vernon with a slight advantage there, just, 87 to 67 in the total yards. Belle Vernon has picked up 10 first downs, but they've converted 3 times on third down, but obviously haven't been able to get into the end zone. We don't have an offensive touchdown in this first half.
Yeah, and that first down category is a little misleading because I think Belle Vernon started getting into that one drive. They moved the ball 3 or 4 times to move the sticks, and that's where they got a lot of those first downs in that one drive. But overall, they really haven't been able to move the ball as well.
Yeah, a team that prides themselves on communication-wise. They seem to be a little bit disoriented, but I thought you made a really good point. This is what good defenses do to you offensively. They have you second-guessing, and I think both coaches right now are challenged with getting their teams to get that offensive positivity back and that confidence back in your offense to be able to sustain some things.
Yeah, both defenses have made both offenses very uncomfortable. They've really pushed them out of their range. When you look at Goretti, they've done a great job in those speed sweeps. They really haven't been able to let Martin get to the outside, which is their bread and butter if you're looking at Belle Vernon. On the other side, without Battle in the game, they have to have the 2 freshmen step up, and they haven't done that much here in that first half as well.
3 picks for that Leopards defense. Let's take a look at them. First one, perhaps a little questionable. Was their control of the football? Was the foot down? Again, give credit to Neumann-Goretti. They were able to turn that whole thing around and wound up scoring off of that on that special teams miscue by Belle Vernon. But here's the interception number 2.
Yeah, and you're going to see a tip there by Marchese. That's the thing that helps you as well, Mike. That's, you're going to see a situation where, those guys inside giving you those tips, those are always helpful for the D-backs.
Then another one tipped, and right there for the interception, that was Lecart, able to come up with the football there in the interception, but again, Belle Vernon unable to get things going there. So this is really intriguing what lies ahead in this second half. Both teams have made their way back out onto the field, and here are the first half possessions, starting first of all with the Saints of Neumann-Goretti. Now you wind up punting, and that punt wasn't pretty at all. Interception, 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 and a punt. Those are hardly possessions that you would think. That's the winning team right now, or the leading team, leading in this game 8-3.
If you gave that graphic along with 4 first downs, and you said to somebody who's winning this game, you wouldn't get that side of the ball.
On the other end of it for Matt Humbert, you got the field goal to start, got off to a really nice start. That was after that really short punt. They had a short field, moved the ball well. 6 plays, 20 yards, but did have to settle for the field goal, and then things kind of got out of control for them offensively with a fumble, the punt, the turnover on downs, punt, and then, of course, the end of the half. So we'll take a look and see what kind of think, you're at that time of the year where you're looking for major adjustments here. I think you're looking for execution if you're both head coaches, specifically on the offensive side of the ball.
Well, I say on the Belle Vernon side, Mike, again, you need to settle down, and I think that's one of the things they talked about in the locker room. They need to be consistent. Let us do what we do best. We're being dictated by the defense, which is a very good one to say the least. But that's what they need to do on their side of the ball. And I think the other side, they're going to have to find a playmaker on the other side. They're without their best playmaker. Somebody's got to step up here in the second half. And I'm sure that Wharton, would be one of the guys that could step up. His passing is one thing that could lead them in that second half. Denham Smith, his favorite receiver, that's another guy that could step up here in the second half. But they got to get a big completion or a couple of big completions to get themselves going down the field and get themselves excited about this second half.
Belle Vernon's going to have an opportunity to get their hands on the football first. Martin is going to be joined by Jetico, both settling in about their own 15-yard line. Kicking game has not been great for Neumann-Goretti. Again, they don't kick extra points. Kickoff duties handled by Williams. Last time it was a low-line drive kick that Martin was able to get a pretty good return on. They're trying to confuse him back there, and Williams, as our second half now is underway. Chip shot down the near side, fielded by one of the upbacks, and a really good effort coming up here. Still on his feet out to the 45-yard line is Rakonen. Rakonen, punt returner, kick returner, serving as one of their captains. Two-way starter at wide receiver and outside linebacker. So once again, Belle Vernon has good field position this to start the third quarter.
And this is what I mean, consistency now. Be able, I think they got to get away a little bit from that speed sweep and go back to more power up front and see if they can challenge that offensive line and do some things up front.
Got a whistle far side. Did Neumann-Goretti use a timeout?
Nope. Timeout. Neumann-Goretti.
10 players.
They're first.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10 players on the field. Yeah, this has not been great when it comes to, the fluidness for either team. Boy, that is a timeout. Mark that one in your banks. Mark that one in your memory banks if this thing goes down to the wire, and it certainly is giving you every indication, and you can see the disappointment there by Albie Crosby. They drove in. They came from Philadelphia on the bus. He said, we decided to not come in and stay overnight. He said, our budget isn't where we would like it to be in terms of being able to do that. We wanted to give the kids something that they could remember, and I believe they bought them coats or hoodies or some kind of a shirt to remember the experience by. So not the way you wanted to start this second half. Here's Locke, still has the football, but the Saints have him, and again it is number 58, Nordine. 33 tackles on the year, including 10 for losses.
Well, that was one of the things that worked for them so very well in that first half, was that read option with him going up the middle of the field with the quarterback keeper, and they tried that again here. Got a couple of yards, got 3 yards on it, but that's the kind of thing to give him a different look. And I said, more keep pounding that middle, I think, is going to be the key.
Gain of 3 on first down. That's Martin. Low snap from center. Again, the execution not great. What a terrific play by Locks. Locks somehow able to get that ball to Jetico, and when first thing you learn as a quarterback, Jim, is it is your job to get the ball to that running back, and boy, Locks did it well right there.
Yeah, and again, you're getting the detour. Martin's giving everybody the attention, and then all of a sudden Jetico comes up with a real good run, and again, right up the middle.
Football inside the 45. Locks on the keeper here. He's not going to find much going on. Runs into a pair of defenders. Defalaran, along with Nordine again. No gain on first down. How many no gain or negative plays have been turned in by both sides? But I think we kind of expected that with the numbers that we were presented. On second down, it'll be Martin. Good surge by that right side of the line, and Martin showing some good poise and patience.
Really followed his blockers very well that time. That was one of his better runs of the afternoon. And don't be, afraid. You might see Martin in a passing situation in one of these plays too as well. The amount of attention that he draws up front. You're getting 8, 9, 10 guys in the box when he's getting the football in his hands. But a little pass, maybe off the speed sweep, a pass might be something different that they come out of halftime with.
Really kind of in that neighborhood where you are in a 4-down territory, especially the way these two teams can play defense. Locke surveying the situation. Martin on the speed sweep, trying to get to the outside. This one's coming back. He's close to first down yardage, but a flag coming out, and it appeared to be a hold on the end. And Martin appears to be shaken up. Martin has not gotten up yet.
You're going to see that speed sweep, is it? And I said that they're not getting the key on the outside. That's what's happening there. They're not getting people outside quick enough to give him any kind of interference, and he's doing a lot of this on his own.
You wonder why these.
Holding. Number 88, Green. Repeat third down.
Well, that only part of the worries right now for the Leopards. That becomes even a bigger concern over there
Injury
across
timeout.
the way. As Martin now being attended to. But I don't know if we can bring up that last replay once again, Jim. You wonder why these two teams have the ability to keep you out of the end zone. What a play by Kyan Johnson. I mean, part of playing defense is you got to get off blocks and then you got to make plays. Watch the effort that Johnson gives here. I mean, he's got guys around him. They're trying to control him. Look at him get rid of a defender, and what a beautiful form tackle down there around the knees.
They've done a better job here this afternoon of getting and shredding would-be blockers and getting rid of blockers than Belle Vernon has. There's absolutely no question about that, Mike. They've done such a great job. This looks like a hamstring situation right here for Martin, and they're trying to stretch that out right now. I saw him put his hand down towards his hamstring when he went down, so I thought that's what this was, and that's what they're going to be doing here right now. The training staff is working on him. As you see that hit, and you see him, he'll come up and take a look at, see how he puts his hand right on that hamstring in the back there. So that's what they're working on right now.
Historic run for Belle Vernon. They've won 10 straight. Whippeal Finals, 1995, their other victory over Franklin, 22-6. They got back into the District 7 title game, lost to Blackhawk the next year, 24-6. 1999 lost to West Allegheny 37-12, and a couple of years ago lost to Thomas Jefferson 41-7. Coach Umbert said about the strength of their schedule and the programs out there, and of course Thomas Jefferson, that really appears to be a good sign there. Martin looks like he'll be ready to go at some point, but Coach talked about the likes of a Thomas Jefferson, and that's a program, Jim, that boy, they were a yearly entry into these championship games every year, and certainly won their share of titles. Haven't seen them in a few seasons, but what a wonderful program out west.
Yeah, and they've always had that hard chance, and they had to go against Aliquippa as well, and that's been a struggle for them. So that's why going down to 3A was a little bit easier for them this year to get themselves in here.
Penalty backs them up just inside the 50. Locks is on the money here. Completion carrying to the 42-yard line. He was able to get it to Jetico.
Now, see, he's a lot better now in the second half. He's, smooth rhythm, not throwing the ball, not overthrowing the ball.
Injury
That was a
timeout.
nice job.
Yeah, Jetico took a pretty good shot there. Injury, however, is the other way, 52. That's Deshaun Dotson.
It's a little calf stretch there as well, Mike. That's a cramp situation.
So I was talking with Coach Albie Crosby, and we were talking about, of course, Carl Aragale and that mighty Neumann-Goretti basketball program. And I said, well, are any
Please
of
put
you...
40 seconds on the play clock. Defensive injury.
See him wearing that battle, that the company that he represents. But I asked him, are any of these guys basketball players? He said, well, I got a good one for you, Deshaun Dotson. Now, keep in mind, he's 6'5" and 270. And apparently, as a freshman, he was a shooting guard on the freshman team. I kind of think he outgrew. I think he outgrew that position for Coach Aragale.
Yeah, Coach Aragale, love to see him come out there.
Yeah, right.
Look at it. You see the point guard for the other team looking to take him on? I don't think so.
Yeah. And the boys, not the only one. Andrea Peterson has guided the women's program to. They had their 5th title win in the last 8 years. 9 state titles for the guys. I'm sure Coach Aragale's watching this afternoon's game. He's got that appliance store in Philadelphia, and I think on 4th down here.
Going to catch a break.
Defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Boy, what a great
3
job.
men on the end of the line.
Locks did a great job, Mike. He really barked out a couple of different things, and they jumped. They had more than one guy jump.
So that'll be a conversion on 4th down. You take them however you can get them. And the drive stays alive despite the hold, which negated a nice run by Martin. Locks now on 1st down, will keep it and find a yard, maybe 2. Martin, by the way, is back into the football game. That was he on the fake. So that's certainly good news for Leopards faithful.
Locks is a big kid for a quarterback, as we talked about, 6'5", 215, so gives you a lot of size in that backfield.
Yeah, Wharton 6'7". We've got a couple of nice power forwards playing quarterback. Locks taking the direct snap, sets up quickly, and has his intended target. This will go for short yardage. That is Colton Lee on the reception. 12 of them on the year for 126 yards.
You see, Coach Humbert has done a nice job here, mixing it up on this second half. Now they're getting a little bit more into the passing game. Not a big job, but you get some short gains to the outside. Can mix up, make those linebackers a little bit more honest with the run game. So little adjustments in halftime going a long way for them.
Well, and the way this game is going, this has been one of the more sustained efforts for either team offensively. It's taken a lot of time off the clock. Here is Locks once again. Got a little contact on him in the backfield.
Of course, when you're 6'5", you're going to get a yard or two just laying down there, so that's a little bit of a gain for them.
Now we're going to bring up a 4th down once again. Well, and I'm sure the call on the far sidelines is to stay disciplined. See if Locks tries to draw him offside once again. He'll line up in the shotgun. 4th down, they need every bit of 2 yards. And Belle Vernon will use one of their timeouts. So each team has had to burn one early here. You don't mind it so much in the first half, but boy, in the second half, Jim, it becomes a little different, but it'll just give you the significance of the play that lies ahead. Matt Umbert, 2003 graduate of Laurel Highlands. He was a quarterback for 3 years under Jack Bruner. And Scott Nee, 2007 graduate of California, Pennsylvania, where he played for John Lockhart, earned his teaching degree and master's in athletic administration.
This is going to be a very interesting call here. And the reason he called timeout too, Mike, is that, it's early, but the thing of it is, there's not many opportunities for them to get this far inside. And that's the thing. He wants to make everything count when you get this far upfield. And this drive has been one of their most beneficial so far this afternoon.
4th down and 2 coming with 7:20 to go, 3rd quarter. They're going to load up the backfield. Martin to the immediate left of Locks. Tight formation for the Leopards. Locks trying to draw the defense off. And this time, better discipline. Martin has the football. He's brought down, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure here. Look at that play by Johnson coming off the edge.
They are so quick off the edge. It's amazing.
Celebration across the way. We haven't gotten an official ruling as of yet.
They didn't get a body on Johnson. That's the problem. They had nobody at all to touch Johnson. And you can't let people with his kind of speed go untouched.
Albie Crosby's defense rising to the occasion once again. Johnson coming off the edge. And a possession that chewed up a good bit of time in that 3rd quarter comes up empty for Belle Vernon. Back now to work offensively. That's Page, number 21. Page and Goins have really been bottled up by this Belle Vernon defense.
Going to a little bit more up-tempo here now is Goretti.
2nd down.
To no avail. There's a fine defensive play. That's Colton Lee. We just saw him make a catch a moment ago. Two-way performer. Backs up at middle linebacker, talking with the coaching staff with the Leopards. They said they have a nice rotation of players in the line of scrimmage and the linebackers, and you see that a lot, Jim, with these programs that use a lot of guys both ways, and they're able to get guys a little bit of a breather. Sub coming in here late on 3rd down and 7.
Going more to nickel package here, but it's not going to matter because they're going to get the sack.
Sack all the way back to the 12. And there's the hockey guy again. That's Steve Macheska with a big play. Sack back to the 17-yard line.
Take a look at, he just goes sideways and then upfield and right to the quarterback and wraps him up. Nice job of getting by the first lineman right there. Did a great job of just going right upfield.
Is he glad he turned in those hockey sticks now, huh?
Now this will be interesting to see if they're going to do that punt again.
Well, now they're moving people all over the place. And the snap, one hopped, and that ball, I don't know how they got it out of there.
Wow.
Nobody back for Belle Vernon. Boy, that was crude but effective. Crude but very effective as that ball goes all the way inside the 40. What's going on here today? 5:21 to go, third quarter, 8-3 Saints.
Support PCN and the programming you love by texting PCN TV to 877-907-9770. With your generous donation, PCN will continue to share everything Pennsylvania with you and your neighbors. Please consider donating today. PCN is everything Pennsylvania. PCN is Pennsylvania history and culture. From the founding of our nation to the struggle for freedom and equality. Listen to the words of authors as they discuss Pennsylvania and the people, places, and events that relate to the Commonwealth. Celebrate our diversity, embrace the past as we look to the future, and be a part of building our nation. PCN is Pennsylvania history and culture.
Well, that punter was Gowans, who the freshman, and that's who Coach Crosby had given me. You can see how disappointed he is in terms of his inability in the offense. But, Jim, you know, there was a coach during the regular season once told me, he said, when you're not good at something, you have to be different. And kicking game hasn't been, you know, real solid. And I'll say this for Neumann-Goretti, they are different in the kicking game, that's for sure.
You're seeing a lot of different things. And here's that read again. And this is what they've been so successful at. Going to get 8 yards on that play right there. And that's what I said, Locks, if he can get himself up through that chute, take a look at it here. You fake, and look at all the people right there. He gets a great block there on the inside. That's a nice block to get himself upfield, and that's the key for that, to read that corner and then go upfield.
I believe it was number 70, Dane Levi, two-way starter, left guard and defensive end, who was able to provide that nice trap block. Gain of 7 on first down. Direct snap. Martin has the football, twisting, fighting. He has first down yardage.
And he made that happen on his own. That was a good spin move right there by Martin. They're finding success now a little bit on that right side.
Fights his way, football spotted right at midfield. Longest play of the game here this afternoon is 22 yards. Martin had a 22-yard run. Second play of the afternoon. Jim, I mean, you're hard-pressed to get very many plays of more than 10 yards since that 22-yarder. Locks has the football. And the way this game is going, 5 yards is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that it's going to happen here is you're trying a little bit to lull those guys to sleep on that end, because they're going to say, okay, this time we're going to creep in a little bit to stop that quarterback on that situation, and then all of a sudden there's going to be a toss or there's going to be a give on the outside, and that's when Martin's going to take off.
Just 7 seniors on this Belle Vernon roster, 19 juniors, and they are excited about the opportunity that presents moving forward. 10 sophomores, 11 freshmen. On second down, Locks this time keeps it, but runs into a trio or even 4 defensive players.
Yeah, they got no push up front that time, as you're going to see it right here. You see they come in, they place. Great job defensing that up. Number 55 comes in there, Christopher Bresci. We said his name a few times here tonight. He just blows that play up early and gets great help from the other guys.
23 tackles, 2 for sacks, 6 for losses. Getting to the point in this game, Jim, you have to ask yourself, what is it going to take to score a touchdown? On third down.
What's happening is they're trying to get Martin in so many different positions and trying to create so many different opportunities that they ended up getting a few
Snap
false starts.
infraction, 53 green, 5-yard penalty.
And we saw that last night too as well. We saw a couple of center infractions in a game we watched last night here. And
I asked Coach Humbert if he is the offensive coordinator. He hesitated for a moment. He says, yeah, I am. When things are going well, he said, when we're moving the ball and we're scoring touchdown, I am the OC. He said, otherwise, no, we do it as a committee. And then he said, yes, I called the plays, but he was pretty lighthearted about the whole deal, but not having much fun right now. Locks hanging in there and delivers his best pass of the afternoon. Put it right on the numbers of number 17, Rakonen.
Yeah, Rakonen does a nice job, but this is put right on the money. And see, now they're bringing a lot of people. Look at the great block. That's impressive right there. Martin did a nice job picking up the blitz. Very nice job with the block.
Trying to hurry up to the line of scrimmage on 4th down, and they got there just in time. Albie Crosby and the staff over with Neumann-Goretti claiming that they helped the runner here, and they're not going to get the call. And it is a call, Jim, quite honestly, that you and I have discussed all year long. You are not allowed to aid a runner by pushing or pulling or picking them up and carrying them. And it is something that is really on the fringe in a lot of games that we have seen. Play stands and a fresh set of downs and another negative play defensively.
See, they're really loading the box and sending people all the time. You could see that time Bradley coming in, and he's had a heck of a game as a sophomore. But they've really loaded that box up, and they're really pushing people. They're just begging you to throw the football right now. Last time they were successful. This time they get met head on.
Jedico shaken up on the play. I mean, you're running a read option there, and I mean, you're getting thrown for 2-yard loss. You have no chance to make any kind of a read if you are Locks in that backfield. Sends a trio of receivers to the top side of the formation. He's looking in that direction. Now checks it back near side where he goes to Martin. Martin, however, closely guarded. And it'll depend where they
number 44, Bradley.
Put him out of bounds. That was good coverage there. That was Jaden Todd, number 31, the cornerback, a junior, who was in the neighborhood there. He didn't make the tackle, but he slowed Martin down enough for the rest of the guys to get there.
I see they have a lot of guys, again, within that 5 to 10 yard range. They're really creeping everybody up, and that's causing him to throw underneath. But this is hard to break that coverage unless you take a big, deep drop and try to throw one downfield.
Now, see the significance of negative plays. I mean, now you're faced with a 3rd down and 10. It has been a nail biter all day long. Locks takes the direct snap. Pressure coming up the middle, and he is under duress. He's got a world of room right side. 1st down and more for Locks. Still on his feet inside the 25-yard line.
Smart decision, exactly what decision you need to make. He saw that opening up there. Don't throw the football. Take that and run with it.
Biggest play of the game from the line of scrimmage, and it is Locks improvising.
Injury timeout. Injury timeout.
23-yard. That's your quarterback there. Defensive end. Looked like a fullback. I mean, he's had 3 different uniforms on in that play, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
He started out as a quarterback, then was a running back. Then he looked like a fullback. Injured player, that is Khalil Hill, 5'8" senior.
Let's go,
35 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter. Both teams huddled up on their respective sidelines. State champion, while the head coach at Imhotep Charter. It was interesting. He said, yeah, you know, he said, look at some of the football programs I coached and who the basketball coaches were when I was there. Of course, Imhotep Charter, you're talking about Andre Noble, who has turned that program into a USA power, and Carl Aragale we have discussed already. Said I can talk with some guys if I need any advice. Locks now on 1st and 10. Has a man. This is Martin. He is to the 5, and we've got a touchdown.
And what happened that time is that Martin snuck out of the backfield came outside. That was the key. Locks had a lot of time. That was a nice play. They've been waiting for that to happen all day long, and I think there was a mix-up in that secondary because he was pretty wide open. Look at how he just came out, a little wheel route out here, and he is wide open on the outside. Nice job by the offense.
Well, see what they do now on the point after. We have seen Stieber handle the punting units in the absence of the injured Willie Schwera.
They're going for two here, Mike. Locks is in the situation where they're going to go for two.
Locks lined up in the shotgun. Football comes out, and that will be it. Can't score on an extra point. So a 9-8 game as the Leopards retake the lead. They led 3-0. But the first offensive score, and that's just the case. They finally were able to. We're finally able to get Martin into some space and take advantage of it.
Yeah, that's the key, Mike. And they did a nice job. 10 plays, 61 yards, 4 minutes, 53 seconds. They did a lot of different things, and this is the biggest play of the drive right here as he decides he's going to take that ball, go to damage control, and make that great run up the sidelines. That was the biggest play of the drive, but they mixed it up. They did a little passing. They did a lot of different things, and there you get the little route out of the backfield. And they've been looking for him all afternoon, and you can see it all started there with that big INT again, and the interceptions have been great all afternoon.
Well, Jim, I think you really get a good idea on why they're so high on Quinton Martin. He is a junior, 6'3", 200 pounds. Obviously his rushing abilities, but the nice soft hands on that throw. He had to go up and get that one. You're running. You don't know what you have defensive. I mean, he has 27 receptions for 394 yards and 6 scores in that area of the game as well to go along with the 21 rushing touchdowns. And that's why college are just salivating over him and just would love to have his services. He'll have another year to think about that as well. Low kick, very returnable. Trying to get to that left side and turning it upfield. That looked to be number 2, Smith, on the return.
Mike, talking about Martin in the Avon Worth game, he had 3 different touchdowns, as you said, a 32-yard reception, a punt return of 51 yards, and a 45-yard run. Rushed for 68 yards, 2 receptions for 41 yards, so he does a lot of different things, and a lot of times that's what college coaches are loving about him, the fact that he can do a lot of different things. You know, we could put him in a lot of different positions, the slot, running back, obviously a D-back. He can do a lot of things for your college program.
Well, Alvin Crosby now having to go against the defense that has the lead back once again. Start on the ground. That was Gowans getting the call, number 15.
Gowans, the ball carrier. Stop by number 2, Colton Lee.
Gowans has 4 catches for 17 yards. He wound up carrying 11 times last week for 48 yards. We are through 3 low-scoring AAA championship game. The Leopards of Belle Vernon with a 1-point lead at 9-8.
It doesn't matter what part of the state you're from. One thing is certain. Pennsylvania loves sports. On the first Friday of the month, PCN takes you inside the lines at 6:30 p.m. PCN delivers insight from the people who cover sports from every corner of the Commonwealth. From high school to college to professional sports, PCN takes you inside the lines. Learn more at PCNTV.com.
PIAA Championship games are the exclusive property of the PIAA. Television coverage is licensed to PCN, whose exclusive rights are protected by federal copyright law. Any retransmission of any kind or other use of the television coverage of this game without the expressed written consent of PIAA is prohibited by law.
And we'll start the fourth quarter with Macheska doing what he's been doing all game long, and that's getting a good stop for that defense. that time, and we talked about how good his season was with the 57 tackles, 5 sacks. He's been successful all season long and really been a great player for Coach.
He's recovered a fumble that went for a touchdown as well. They've got him in 3rd down and long once again. 2nd back through, and going to depend on the spot. I don't think they gave it to him. It might be inches shy of a 1st down. One of the better runs turned in there by Gowans.
It's one of the first times that any of the backs have gotten to that 2nd level.
They're going on 4th and short. Football just outside the 40. 2nd back through. Got some work to do. And it looks like the line judge is giving him forward progress. It was Gowan again getting the football. And if he needed 10 inches, he got 11. Leopard faithful near side here, not agreeing with the spot. Neumann-Goretti, Jim, is now trying to up tempo here offensively. 3 backs. This is the 3rd of those 3 backs as they try and get a little bit more blocking there. Gowans again getting the call.
Guess who's on the stop? Francesca once again chasing from that defensive line position down the line.
It's been sensational. Coming back from an ACL tear that he suffered as a sophomore after the coach talked him into coming out to playing football. Coach Umbert said he thought, boy, what a guy I am. I'm sure I'm never going to see him again. And Steve surprised him and came back, and here he is playing on the biggest stage for a Pennsylvania high school football player. Approaching the 10-minute mark. They've got him in 3rd and long once again. It seems to be a recurring theme all day. They're going to keep it on the ground. Gowans trying to stretch it forward. Correct myself, Page is now in the game. He's down at the 50, and they're 2 yards shy here with 4th down coming up.
It's that same play they ran before. They get the big gain in, so they wanted to run it. They're going to run it again.
Trying to go in a hurry. Page, the forward progress, and again by a couple of inches will move the markers.
Yeah, they've been successful with that play. That's the 3rd time they've run it on this drive.
Back-to-back 1st downs for Neumann-Goretti. We have not said that a lot all this afternoon. That is just their 6th 1st down of the game.
Remember, you're going against a tough defense right here now. That's what Albie Crosby's thinking about this defense, and he knows the stats too, that they haven't given up points in that 2nd half. So
kind of like what they're doing here, Jim. I mean, they just got everybody. I mean, they got those 2 up backs, and they're just going right at them. I mean, they haven't been successful doing anything else, and not going to be too successful there either. What a play off the edge. Here's number 88, Aiden Johnson.
Take a look at Johnson coming in here. Now look at those guys go down the line, and that's what they're doing right now. Eyes up. Really good play by Johnson as he slides down right down the pike and gets that tackle.
Brett Barish, defensive coordinator for the Leopards, shared with us prior to the game the ability of these guys to just continue to get after it technique-wise. We're seeing it here. Now faced with a 3rd down and 9. They spread the formation. Major is the motion man. Wharton's throw will fall incomplete. Put a little bit too much heat on it, intended for Beverly. And now a big decision facing Albie Crosby and Neumann-Goretti.
Yeah, he's going to kick himself because he had him open right over the middle. It was a great pattern. That was a lot of yardage that was going to be gained off that pattern as well, but kind of threw that ball behind him.
And if you're Neumann-Goretti, you can ill afford to miss too many more of those opportunities. They will at least line up to go for it or act like they are on 4th down. Remember, Wharton has pooch kicked on a number of occasions. Not this time. Pass juggled and falls incomplete. Looked like Zangolo had it momentarily, and then coming in there was Rokinen, and I don't know if he had anything to do with the incompletion.
Incomplete pass. First down, Belle Vernon.
You take look, good protection. He had a lot of opportunity. No, he's just going to be a.
Well, at the end of the day, Jim, those are 2 receptions. If you're Neumann-Goretti, you need to make. Had the man open, and that ball, while thrown a little low, that certainly obviously speaks for itself.
That first one was, I bet, a 40 to 50 yard gain on it because he had a lot of green in front of him.
Matt Humbert's guy now can settle in. They lead it by 1. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Football just outside. Belle Vernon's 45. Direct snap to Martin, and he runs smack into Deshaun Dotson.
This is the same situation they were in last week when they got the lead in the fourth quarter. They had an opportunity to seal it away, but they fumbled the ball. So there's a lot of thought about that, I'm sure. Coach is going to bring that up for sure down on that sideline.
UPMC proud to support PCN's live coverage of the PIAA Football Championship as this year's scorebar sponsor. UPMC is committed to treating and preventing sports injuries in student athletes. UPMC, life-changing medicine. Second down and 10. Rokinen, the motion man. Martin straight ahead. Not going to find too much. That was Jetico, excuse me.
Number 10, Jake Jetico, the ball carrier.
Yeah, their defense had to bail them out twice in that fourth quarter last week.
My timeout, blood.
Trying to force up that middle
blood,
again.
Coach.
They've been successful with that play earlier in the quarter.
Jetico going to require medical attention.
Just timeout for blood. Come on.
Speaking of medical personnel, it puts a little pressure on you. Huh? Get it back into the game. Third down and 9. Clock now back running. Rokinen resets in the slot to the left. Locks looking over the middle of the field, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, and an interception here for the Saints of Neumann-Goretti. Ball picked off by Williams, his team-leading 6th interception of the year. He's returned one of them for a touchdown, and again, defense, the operative word here.
Had a lot of time, just threw it a little bit hard off the hand right there. That was a big reception right there. That could have been ball game written right there if they got that one.
Well,
here it is. It's turned around.
We said it on the other end of it, Jim. I mean, at the end of the day, those are the receptions that you need to make. Colton Lee, who is a junior, he'd love to have another shot at making that reception there. A break for the Saints defensively. They take over in plus territory. Wharton's under duress, and down he goes. Boy, he's big number 58.
Don't get the big guy mad.
Yeah.
Don't get him mad.
Macheska's having the afternoon of his career.
He's used to being in these kind of situations in hockey games, so he's coming around here. He loves that contact. Look at, wow, what a great hit.
5 sacks on the year, 57 tackles. Number 58 is turning in an all-state performance here this afternoon.
He's putting this defense on his back right now. It's obvious.
Loss of a yard. First back through for the Saints. They just have been unable to sustain anything offensively throughout the course of this game. That was Hobbs getting the call. Hobbs slow to get up. Samuel actually has scored their lone touchdown. It was on the special teams miscue.
Injury timeout.
I said Hobbs gives you a different look in that backfield.
We'll take a timeout. 5:46 to go in the game. Leopards 9, Saints 8.
For less than the cost of a stylish coffee, you can support PCN and our programming. With your donation, you help bring Pennsylvania's history and culture, politics and policy, and the best of Pennsylvania sports to all of the Keystone States residents. Please consider a monthly gift to help PCN continue to be everything Pennsylvania.
Cumberland Valley High School, first of a 4-year deal with the PIAA to host these football championships. Principal Judy Bumgardner, athletic director Michael J. Craig, Darnell Stanford, his assistant. Football coach is Josh Oswald. He and his staff have done a lot of the work here. We got to meet him the other day. Terrific showing here, first of 4 years for these championship games at Cumberland Valley High School. Multi-million-dollar project, new surface. Press boxes are still going to get worked on as of yet. Back to work here. Dangerous throws. It's going to fall incomplete. Wharton had it in the area, but again, it was intended for Major, who has 15 catches, 223 yards. He had the game-winning touchdown reception with 34 seconds to go against Wyomissing. I mean, you can just see the anguish on Coach Crosby's face. I mean, the team has struggled offensively all day, and you've had a couple of catchable passes here that haven't gone your way. They're going to go again on 4th down.
It was a bad snap the last time, too. They were fortunate to get something out of that.
Wharton buying time, has a man, and this time it's on the money. Oh, he threw a dart right between the 1 and the 1, and this time Major makes the reception and a conversion on 4th down.
Well, when you have that win like you did last week, you get confidence in these kind of plays. He loops it perfectly, looped pass right over the outstretched arms of the defender. That was right on the money.
I don't know that you could have defended it much better. 23-yard pickup. I think that's the longest play from scrimmage, and it is for the Saints all afternoon long. Go back to work in the running game, and now a little room there to maneuver. That is Terrence Page, number 21. Again, the two guys rushing the football are both freshmen.
And you're going to see Page come through here. You see that ball bobble a little bit as he's coming through there. Ooh, nice job of holding on to that one. Good job of you doing all those ball drills. That's where you learn that kind of skill.
Page remains the running back. He's going to get the football, bounces to the outside. Look at all the green uniforms there. 9 of the 11, make that 8 of the 11 involved in that stop against Page.
Yeah, they do a good job of going to the football. As we said, they've really shut down these two guys in the backfield who are trying to make up for the absence of battle here this afternoon. And the thing of it is, they've done a good job, but they really haven't been able. There's Battle right there, helping his coach right there call some plays. And the thing of it is, it's going to be tough here once you get inside that red zone against this D.
Tough lesson for Sean Battle, again out because of being ejected last week. But you have to be a teammate as best you can, cheering on his guys. Coach talks about that as they are trying to punch in here for the go-ahead score. It is Page once again.
This time, nice adjustment by Page as he starts going left. He sees that opening and just about got through there. He could have got more daylight. That was a close play right there. Good job by Belle Vernon to stop him.
4 minutes to go in regulation. A busted play here, and Wharton's going to go to damage control. He's going to lose some yardage. Fortunately, it'll be minimal at best. Second down. He did get back to the line of scrimmage. Saints can still pick up a first down without scoring a touchdown. And I'm not going to get it done that way. Page, I mean, there's just no movement off the line of scrimmage. They are just so explosive. Aiden Johnson, 88, off the defensive end spot. 26 tackles, 5 for sacks.
And Macheska is just ripping his guy as he gets around inside. I'll tell you, we've seen some great play by nose guards in this weekend of football here at Cumberland Valley. We saw Rydell do a good job exactly with Bishop McDevitt. He did an outstanding job of manning that middle, and boy, this guy Marcheska is doing the same right now.
Yeah, even when he doesn't make the tackle, Jim, he occupies so many guys that it helps a teammate to be able to make the tackle. On third down, throw it underneath the coverage, pass is complete. That is to Gowans out of the backfield, but again, good flow to the football, and it is going to bring up a 4th down. Well, they don't kick extra points, so I'm sure we're not going to see a field goal attempt here. PIAA Football Championship could be coming down to this very play. Closing in on 2 minutes, 4th down and 5. Need to get the football to the 2 for a 1st down.
They're going to split 2 guys out to the right, and they're going to call timeout here to talk about it.
Timeout, Belle Vernon.
Hasn't always been pretty this afternoon, but boy, has it been competitive. These 2 teams have dueled. Doug Heater talked about it at halftime that you could almost feel this one going down to the wire.
And you see in the bottom of that pile is the defensive coordinator. He's going over exactly what he wants to see happen here. They had 2 guys split to the right. He wants to make sure you get some good coverage on that side. And interesting to see what they call here.
So the staff shared with us when we were on the field, Jim, and I double-checked with you, this defense has not given up a touchdown in the second half of a game, dating back to the 3rd week of the season.
That's an unbelievable.
Now it's getting severely tested right now. Over on the other side of it, you know, your receivers haven't been great. You've delivered some good passes that were catchable balls that didn't work out. This is a tough call for Albie Crosby across the way. Saints are down to just 1 timeout. So you got to believe this is their shot at winning this football game. They empty the backfield for Wharton. He's got 3 receivers to the right side. Looking that way, he's got a man wide open. The catch is made. It's not a touchdown, but I think they've got enough for a 1st down. It's very close. Majors on the reception. Tackle was made right there. Let's check on the spot.
They sent those trips to the right side, and the closest guy inside gets the pass.
He's got a 1st down.
Yeah, he's got it.
He needed to get to the 2.
For a measurement.
He needed to get to the 2, and this football game comes down to the measurement far side. Wow, you talk about a game of inches, huh? You talk about a game of inches by 2.5 inches. A completion and a 1st down and a fresh set of downs now with 1:48. Let's check on it once again. Let's see where he makes contact. We don't see any of the hash marks in that replay. It certainly appeared, Jim, by first look, that it should be at about the 2-yard line. I've got to agree with the officials. And now the clock running. They've gone to that power look. This is the 2nd back through. Fighting, no signal as of yet.
Ball comes
saying loose. The football came out. Still no signal. Hobbs, who was hurt earlier, was the ball carrier there. See what happens. Well,
joint possession on a fumble. Joint possession goes to the offense. 2nd down.
It certainly looked like White was in there with a chance. There's the ball coming out. Certainly looked like White was in there. Certainly can't see a number on it, but who knows what happens after this. All bets are off after that. 1 minute to go. Football at the 1 yard line. 2nd down. Tobbs again. He's not going to get there. He's not going to get there. It's going to bring up a 3rd down.
They haven't been able to get that push.
Stalemate. You're absolutely right. Look at
underneath.
Is that Macheska on the bottom of that?
Got to be Macheska underneath.
Timeout. Timeout. Belle Vernon. 3rd timeout and final.
Belle Vernon's going to use their 3rd and final timeout. Well, Jim, we often talk to defensive coaches, and really football's a game of leverage. The guy who plays with his pads lowest is going to win, and I don't know if that was Macheska or not. I think it was number 4 now. We're being told that's Parker Jewell. I mean, and he was the lowest of everybody on that pile, and as a result, as you said, you get no push, you get no momentum with it. Saints are out of timeouts across the way. There's just 45 seconds remaining in this football game. And in this day and age of 55-49 finals, this has been, and again, it hasn't always been pretty, and I'll be the first to say that, but boy, these two teams have competed. And what we're seeing right here with inches to go now, is a prime example of it. A defense that has just been stout all year long. These two teams give up less than 10 points per game, and their defenses have played like it.
Yeah, they're right on target for that. This might be the time for a quarterback keeper.
3rd down and 1. Wharton, the quarterback keeper, they didn't get a push there. They did not get a push off that line of scrimmage. Still no signal. The game's going to come down to 4th down. And now there's a fumble, and Belle Vernon has held. 88 with the football is Aiden Johnson.
Unbelievable situation right here. Unbelievable.
And the Leopard sideline is going nuts. Now, let's wait a minute here. This game's still not over. Jim, this game is still not over. They're going to have the football.
We have a fumble. Ball's recovered by Belle Vernon on the 1 yard line. 1st down.
Now, you can't, there's no room to take a knee if you're Belle Vernon. Now, the Saints are out of timeouts, but somehow Belle Vernon's going to have to make some kind of a play here to get it out of their end zone. This game is far from over. The way these two teams play defense.
Wow, this is going to be a tough call right here.
On the 1 yard line.
Wow. I mean, you got a quarterback sneak it, don't you? I mean, you got to just put it. Locks has just got to try and maybe draw him off, just surge forward.
And he loses the ball.
Number 14.
I think the whistle had blown it dead.
Wow.
What a crazy end. I mean, it started this way, and it has been this way all afternoon. Albie Crosby, of course, looking for a loose ball here in his favor.
Timeout. Neumann-Goretti. Please put 26 seconds back in the clock.
Scoreboard has Neumann-Goretti out of timeouts. I apologize. They do have one timeout. Scoreboard got ahead of it. Or guys keeping it in the truck had it right. Of course, I'm not surprised at that.
It looks like, Mike, that Locks was on top of that pile, and that ball comes out late.
Discussing a flag. Let's get another look.
And here he's still got it. He's still got it. Now, when he goes to reach, you're going to see it right there. It starts coming out. trying to reach, get himself more yardage out there.
Well, and the other thing, too, is I don't think there's any way with all the bodies that are underneath him that his knee or elbow or anything hit the ground. And I don't know that Albie Crosby might be discussing that right now. If anything, I mean, he's kind of body surfing over all those other bodies that are underneath him, and he was fighting for extra yards.
Flag was on 55 white.
Thought I heard through our microphone the flag was on 55 white, but they haven't moved the ball as of yet.
Please put 26 seconds on the clock. During the dead ball, we have an unsportsmanlike conduct on Belle Vernon. It'll be half the distance to the goal. Repeat, still the down.
That's, usually you think of half the distance to the goal inside the one not being a whole lot. Pretty significant right here. You know, and as we have seen, you got to watch if your locks reaching that ball out. Nearly lost it last time. Everybody crowded around the middle, and they tried to draw him offside, and I think Locks got him.
Yeah, Locks did. That was a good job with his call right there.
Encroachment, defense, 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Yeah, but second down from the 5, you can take a knee now. You have room to maneuver. You can get into that victory formation. Secure the snap, and Belle Vernon will be a state champion for the first time in program history. Takes the knee, the Saints can't stop it. A goal line stand that'll be historic, not just at Belle Vernon, but across the Commonwealth. I'm not going to anticipate on what might be going on here.
Timeout, Neumann-Goretti. Their last timeout. Please put 22 seconds on the clock.
Timeout situation.
And I apologize. Yeah, the scoreboard. Yeah, the scoreboard has them for none. So obviously they got it down there. I apologize for that. That's on me. So now I believe they are out of timeouts.
And again, they're going to be the victory formation.
They put 22 seconds back up on the board. Two programs that have prided themselves on defense. Saints, who average close to 30 points a game, will never get an offensive score. And how about the run for this defense for Belle Vernon? Did not allow a second-half touchdown from the third week of the season. They hold at the 1-yard line. Belle Vernon wins the PIAA State Football Championship.
Unbelievable goal line stand. And there was a couple of plays in that goal line stand, like very couple of good plays that they came up with. I mean, they had a couple of cracks from inside the 2 and couldn't get it in any of those cracks. And what a job those guys did of digging in and making that stop.
Well, if they thought as a coaching staff holding Wyomissing scoreless in the second half last week as key to their victory was something special, and that's something special right there. That's what it's all about, folks. You play your heart out, and then you congratulate one another on a job well done. Belle Vernon wins the PIAA State Championship. Back with some final thoughts after this.
Nobody covers state politics like PCN. Our nonpartisan coverage shows the whole event as it happens, without an agenda.
PIAA Championship runner-up. At this time, we would ask for Neumann-Goretti, Samuel Haas, Mike Gargano, and Cassie Major, please step forward. As District 12 Chairman, Mr. Mike Hawkins presents you with the 2022 PIAA 3A runner-up trophy. Congratulations to the Saints of Neumann-Goretti. And now we would ask that Parker Jewell, Steve Macheska, and Chase Fukonen please step forward. As District 7 Treasurer Mr. Mike Allison presents you with the 2022 PIAA 3A Championship Trophy. Congratulations to the Leopards of Belle Vernon High School.
Yeah, you heard some of the names there, Parker Jewell and Steve Macheska. Those are two of the guys that Matt Humbert had a kind of coerce to coming out for the football program, huh?
Thank goodness they said yes.
Yeah, and Macheska coming back off that ACL injury. Boy, they don't come much tougher than this. And on the other side of it, just for a moment, Jim, obviously dejection for Neumann-Goretti, but it's amazing to watch this entire process over the couple decades you and have been around. You know, you get past the hurdle of the Final Four, then you get here, and then it's another deal. And, you know, I don't think Neumann-Goretti's going anywhere in the very near future. Congratulations to Albie Crosby. They've had a terrific year. They'll come up a little short, but the afternoon belongs to Belle Vernon.
And you know, another thing with Coach Crosby, Mike, I want to give them and their team credit. I saw a lot of handshaking, a lot of hugging down there after the end of that game, which is really nice to see when you play a competitive game like this. A lot of times we don't see that. We see a lot of pushing and shoving and a lot of nonsense, but I'm going to give the credit again to Coach Crosby. That was a very, very nice job he's done with his team.
Today's player of the game is Steve Macheska. The player of the game sponsored by Lebanon Valley College, listed #1 in Pennsylvania for job placement, Lebanon Valley College. He was outstanding and led this defense to, I mean, basically a shutout. The touchdown scored was on the muffed punt.
Yeah, he did a great job in every aspect. If he wasn't tracking down runners, he was knocking the ball down for, you know, an interception. The thing of it is, he was everywhere he needed to be, and right place, right time. There you see him again with a nice hit right there. He put this team on his back in the second half, and he said, we will not lose this football game.
Special moment. Special moment. We congratulate Belle Vernon. Certainly hope you enjoyed it here this afternoon. They are dancing in the streets in Belle Vernon, Pennsylvania. They are state champions in the 3A classification. 9-8 your final. We are down to one more football game. Jim and I and Doug Heater will be back tonight at 7 o'clock. The 6A championship game featuring Harrisburg and St. Joe's Prep. Belle Vernon 9, Neumann-Goretti 8. For Jim Wills, Doug Heater, and all of us here at the Pennsylvania Cable Network, I'm Mike Zambelli. Thanks for tuning in for championship football. Enjoy the remainder of your afternoon.